Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Wednesday night and another edition of the Black Pill Stream. My name is Spencer Bakuli. I'm the associate editor for Bounding Into Comics, and I will be your host tonight. We've got a lot to talk about. I'm sure everybody here knows we've had a lot of news this week. Obviously, the three main topics of discussion tonight are the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, which gave us our first look at all those multiverse shenanigans, or our first real look, I should say. We'll also talk the critical response to Cowboy Bebop, which drops in 2 days. So let's get excited for that. And we'll also be talking the new Marvel series that got announced, mainly X-Men 97, and how Allison Court will not be coming back as one of my favorite X-Men, Jubilee. And we'll also talk generally about the other series that got announced last Friday, because I haven't seen you guys since then. And we've also got other things to talk about. Obviously, we got Victoria Alonso kind of lying to our faces. We've got more news and rumors circulating around Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie. And of course, we have whatever you guys want to talk about tonight. So with that said, let's get right into it. Oh, and of course, before we get really into it, you'll notice that it is just your friendly neighborhood weeb here tonight. Again, Boss Man is sick still. His throat is still killing him. He's fine aside from that, but just scratchy throat makes it hard to talk for 3 hours straight and be at your best. So you're stuck with me for another night. But again, make sure you go give Boss Man some well wishes. I know he wants to be here. I know he really wanted to be here tonight. I was excited that he was back in the saddle today writing, which was really cool. So that being said, you're stuck with me. And let's have some fun tonight, guys. Let's chat. Let's hang out. I want to hear from you guys. I want to, not embarrass you guys, but bore you guys with my expert knowledge on Spider-Man, because I genuinely don't have any other outlet to geek out on it about. But that being said, let's go to the chat. Let's see who is here already. I know we had a couple people before I got on. And hey, if you'll notice today, I was not on Gary time. I got on. Okay, it was like 7:01, but to be fair, that's because the counter had to go down, the 30-second counter. But that being said, I see we got Bobby Campbell, Mr. Bobby Campbell, aka the Oracle, aka hashtag Facts Man. Cannot wait to cut loose, and I'm not going to hold back. Hey, that's what we're here for. Cut loose as much as you want. Let me know in the chat any opinion you guys are having. Obviously, a lot of you have been here before. Some of you may not have been. This is really about interacting with you guys. I want to hear from you. I want to know your opinions. I'll pop up a lot of what you guys have to say throughout the stream. So yeah, cut loose and let's get into it. Hello, Noel. Welcome. I don't think I've seen your name around here before. Happy to have you. Lopter, doing his best Eminem impression. It's funny that you say, or that you started with like, guess who's back again, or guess who's back again, because I was actually thinking the other day, like, I haven't heard from Lopter in a while. There's been like 2 or 3 streams where he has not been first, or at least like second. So it's good to see you again, buddy. Yes, Bunny. It doesn't work as well as it does for Eminem if your name is right above your text. It's a good point. And also, Bunny, how's it going? Always a pleasure to see you. Nerdigan, this has had a big day, doing nothing but recording content and tweeting out Kenosha protest streams for the protest community. She was going to cover a major Shueisha lawsuit, but she didn't have it in her. Obviously, I mean, you've been Nerdigans, guys. Go subscribe to her. Go check out her channel. She's been pumping out content. It's all great, especially if you are into anime and manga or trying to even get into that world. Go check out her stuff. It's fantastic. DC3, what is going on, buddy? Always pleasure to see you. Yeah, Shinkai. First off, hello. Second, yeah, that does sound interesting, doesn't it? I really want to know what that's about, Nerdigan. So definitely get out there. Drop that coverage tomorrow. Neo, what's going on? Man, been a while since I was here. It's only been like a week or two. No worries. It's funny. Just like Lobster last week, though, I did have the thought where it's like, I haven't seen the Racer X icon in a while. Where's Neo? Blue-eyed Roof Korean is late and gay, but it doesn't matter. You're still here, and that's all we could ask for. Father Christopher Miller, hail. No, as I said up top, Father, John is currently out sick with like a really bad sore throat, so he's not gonna be able to join me tonight, but I will do my best to hold it down in his absence. Speaking of Father Christopher Miller, I don't know if anybody was with, or if anybody who was with us last week remembers, we had a little a joke going, Father, how you what? Oh my gosh, guys. What was it? It was like the OnlyFans, but for like was it like Only Fathers? And then people could like subscribe to your account and like go to you for like Bible lessons and stuff. We thought it was pretty funny, but now it's not that funny because I totally forgot the premise of the entire joke. Tehillim, good to see you, buddy. Love again, as always. I know I say it to Tehillim a lot, but I always enjoy his channel. I enjoy his content. Loving everything he's putting out lately. So go check him out too. My boy Porg is in the chat. Hello to our favorite and only Frenchman. Always a pleasure to see you, Porg. You know it is. Yeah, let's see. DC3, to be honest, not excited to see Spider-Man No Way Home as everyone else, but it's just me. I think that'll be our first topic that we'll get into. So I'm going to put a pin in that for just 2 seconds. You know what? If John paid me more, maybe I could pay his kidnapping ransom. See, it's all circular. No, I'm kidding. John pays me well. Don't even trip about that. Yes, let the geeking begin. And then Bobby's right. 8 days till Thanksgiving. Dude, I'm excited. I'm not as big of a Thanksgiving fan as I am a Halloween and Christmas fan. It almost feels like that sort of weird in-between holiday. Especially coming from like a very big family. I know that when we got to like the holidays, it was like, okay, decide, do we all get together for Christmas or do we get together for Thanksgiving? Because it like comes so, like, this is so interesting, this daytime talk show discussion on holidays. Pardon me. And then yes, 44 days till we close the curtain down on 2022 or 2021. So far the year has been, I mean, better than last year, but still not great. Just got done with Payday 2. I've been doing multiple heists on Overkill difficulty. I never really got into the Payday games. They were really fun. I just never really had a lot of whatchamacallit, like friends who had the like Payday games. Like, so I never had anybody to play with. John solves world peace by getting cartels to switch to crypto. I knew he was out doing something important. I knew he had a secret mission. Kabuto, what'd you think of Ooze 10 years after trailer? Okay, I'll give you 5 seconds about it because I know not everybody's going to know what we're talking about. I'm excited. I love it. Ooze looked great. I didn't see it coming, but I'm also really excited to just see everybody come back. And Ooze is one of the better common writers in my opinion, so I'm totally on board. And besides, like everything they've been doing with Revice has been really great. And everything they've been doing with Zen Kiger over on the Super Sentai side has been great. So especially when it comes to these sort of like fan servicey, like let's bring people back sort of series that they've been doing lately, I'm kind of all about it. Jay Lee, what is going on? How's it going, buddy? Always a pleasure to see you. Apparently the critics are hating on Ghostbusters already. Oh yeah, I think you were here for this Nerdigans, but like a couple years ago, or years, geez. A couple weeks ago, The Guardian dropped their, or I think a couple weeks ago, like critic reviews came out for Ghostbusters, like just all of them. And remember, we went over the, for people who were here, we went over a review from The Guardian that basically trashed the new one. What's it called? Afterlife, Ghostbusters Afterlife, because the reviewer was like, why are they appealing to all the old fans? Why are they referencing all these old things? Why are they caring about continuity? Why isn't this the 2016 reboot? And like, it's really sad. And that's what you're going to see with Ghostbusters is that, or like not just with Ghostbusters, but kind of with any sort of media that really tries to honor, you know, the fans, even if they try to change some things, but they go in like genuinely, earnestly trying to be like, I'm trying for the fans. It might not, again, this is what we went over last week. Remember, A for effort, F for execution, right? So in any project that sort of speaks to our sort of nerdness, the fans who've been here for a while, the actual nerds, they're going to hate that because, again, remember, we're the enemy. We're not so, it's bad. It's wrong to appeal to the past. Again, it's the line that John and I hate from Star Wars, except I think it would be really raw if it was used in like anything else. What is it? Let the past die, kill it if you have to. That's what that is more than just a tagline on that movie. That's sort of the philosophy you're seeing in media these days. So whenever anything like Ghostbusters, Nerdigans, like when Afterlife appeals to fans of the original two, there weren't three, were there? I think there were only two. I'm completely blanking. But when you appeal to those hardcore fans, it's going to be looked at as wrong, because why are you keeping this thing alive that we all decided to kill and move on from? Actually, I'm trying to get a Patreon thing set up. Oh, that's even better. Yeah, guys. So that's really good news. I am totally there to sign up whenever you're ready. Let us know whenever it drops. In case you guys don't know, Father Christopher Miller does a lot of great content on everything we enjoy here too. The first Saturday streams where he gets together with the other Catholic members of our community, like John and Lady Gravemaster and Odin's Movie Blog. It's a fantastic show. I love tuning in every month. And aside from that, just every other stream, every other appearance, every other topic of discussion Father Miller is in on. He knows exactly what he's talking about. So I can at least speak for myself and say I'm excited for that. And yeah, let us know when it drops. And Theater. Whoa. Oh my gosh. It just went straight 14-year-old there. Heyo, folks. Yes, Heyo and Theater. Also, I love the icon so much. It's one of my favorite reaction images. Not convinced 2021 was better. I feel like I had a lot more hope through most of 2020. I'd say 2021 was a little better. At least we could go outside again. Yes, Nerdigans. For any of our sports fans here, I will not go full bounding into sports, but for anybody who hasn't seen, the Staples Center, where the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Clippers, formerly San Diego Clippers, don't get me started. The arena where they play in LA will be renamed from the Staples Center, which is like its name. Everybody knows it as that. It's like iconic, to the Crypto.com Center. So get ready for every annoying person on Twitter to be all about it. You know what? With all the stupid changes, so many different platforms like Discord and Twitter are making to appease NFT owners, like the ones who own those really ugly monkey NFTs. Don't be surprised if you see some sort of like NFT gallery or whatever in that stadium. Like, it's just all eye roll inducing. Yes, we always need Kazuna Red to save us. Something I honestly don't understand is how Toku from 2019 to late 20 was so godly garbage. That is something I have been... there is another user on Twitter. His name is Jimmy T. Vu. I don't know if anybody else follows him. He's a big Toku anime fan. He and I are pretty good friends. We talk all the time. Let everybody know what's going on in the world of Toku and stuff like that. But we were talking just like earlier this year. I think maybe like right after Zenkaiger started airing. And we were just like, what is happening? Like, why... What happened in 2019 to 2020, and now all of a sudden it's really good. I don't know. Like Revice is really great. Again, I can't get enough of Zenkaiger. It's one of the most fun series I've watched just in general in a long time. I would recommend it to anybody, but especially to people who know Super Sentai and get the history, because the entire season is based on like retro callbacks and, you know, getting powers from the old teams and yada, yada, yada. So I genuinely don't know, Neo. I'm kind of there with you. It is one of the more confusing developments. Who knows? I can't even begin to speculate, because it's not like there was a big shift in how Toku was produced. You know, it's still Toei. It's still Japan exclusive. Still no plans from Toei to localize anything Kamen Rider or Super Sentai. So. And of course, we know that COVID would have just delayed things, not necessarily changed the writing, right? So it maybe what happened there is Japan did what Japan's media company did what our media company should do, and they went, okay, it is bad. We need to right this ship. How do we do it? Which. Yeah, and look how great it turned out for them. I really hope we see something like that in the future on our side. I'm just not holding my breath. Can we just send the Clippers to a city called Toe for the lulz? I would be, hey, yeah, why not? The Toe Clippers. And then or to a city called Fingernails. Yeah, Nerdigans, 41% on Rotten Tomatoes for Cowboy Bebop, Netflix's, and then 17% with Top Critics. We'll get into it in a little bit, but yes, it is not looking good for Cowboy Bebop. Actually, you know what? Let's open tonight with Cowboy Bebop. We'll save the Spider-Man talk for a little later in the show. But so in case anybody didn't see earlier this week, let me add this to the stream. Yeah, and hey, I'm taking advantage of that new little framing window that I discovered last week, guys. Oh, really, Neo? I think the problem was that was causing it. I remember there was a writer who wanted to make it westernized. That would explain it. The philosophies in Western and Eastern, like show development, is so diametrically opposed at this point. Again. Watch these old show, or not even old shows, but guys, go watch like Kamen Rider or Super Sentai, and you'll get the spirit of like what is a hero, like superhero. Like I was watching. I'm planning on doing a series on my YouTube channel about Kamen Rider, about recommendations, yada yada yada. You guys have heard it enough, but in service of that series, I started going back and watching Kamen Rider from the very start, like 1970 Kamen Rider, the first series. And I like in the first episode, 15 minutes in, I felt like this childlike joy where I was like, dude, yes, go Kamen Rider, go, like save the day. And in the West, everything tries to be like subversive. That's where we're at now, where everything has to, subvert your expectations, flip things on its head. Everything has to be refreshed and revamped. And it's like, no, not always. Nerdigans kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, but like you'll see with Marvel's push on Miles that they're doing. I know that they're always kind of pushing Miles, but they're going at it again. And I think we'll talk about that a little later on. But right now, like you just can't go into these different. Essentially, what it boils down to is something I touched upon back when we were talking about Star Wars Visions. And I got really upset, if you guys will recall. I was really disappointed, is probably the best term, that Marvel, or not Marvel, but Disney released all episodes of Star Wars Visions at once. They went, here you go, this anime series of Star Wars, every episode out now. And as opposed to What If, their Western series, which is, you should take this series seriously because it's got celebrity voice actors and it's by a big studio and it ties into live action movies. And they dropped that like, week by week. And so sorry, hold on. And if you guys remember, I was upset because it's like, you're clearly not treating anime with the same reverence as you do whatever this is, this Western animation. You like Western audiences, for the most part, still view things like cartoons or comic books or manga, anime, video games. A lot of that stuff is still viewed at as something childish. Yes, you can make the argument that, so many people play video games nowadays. I'm gonna take this away just because I don't want to distract. But we'll go right back to our favorite Faye in just a second. Dang it, what was I saying? Darn. I wish John was here so that he could vamp for a second while I got my thoughts back. But right. So yeah, like they in the West, that stuff is still looked at as childish, whereas and yes, you could make the argument that so many people play video games now. Xboxes, PlayStation sell all the time. But again, what are the kind of games that are moving these systems? They're things like Call of Duty. They're things like the sports titles, whether it's NBA 2K or it's any of the EA sports series. It's big blockbuster titles like Halo or Forza, right? It's not the Final Fantasy 7s. It's not the Kamen Rider Climax Heroes. It's not any of these other things that if you go up to somebody and go, I play video games. Do you want to check out Tales of Arise? Most people are going to go, what the hell? Like, you're so weird. What are you doing? And because of that, the West has this inability to take these things seriously. And you especially see it in our adaptations, which is they're essentially, the people who work on these shows are embarrassed to be working on these properties. This kind of ties back into my whole criticism of the Ghostbusters Afterlife review from The Guardian, where in that review, he basically that reviewer was like, oh, it's so, like, why are you appealing to these people? It's not cool to be a nerd. It's so gross to be a nerd. And it's like, do we not remember the last 3 years of people going, oh my gosh, I'm so nerdy. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. In the street, in the Select, if you want to grab it. But yeah, so the West has this inability to take anything like this super seriously. And that's the problem, is that look at when you have anime or you have like Western Toku shows, everything is sincere. Yes, there's comedy and they make fun of themselves, but nobody, when a ranger transforms in Super Sentai, right? You don't get a quip afterward of another person going, that's the big transformation? That's it? Wow, when you said you were going to help, I thought you meant actually help, not this. Like, they don't do that. You know what happens? The Sentai transforms and everybody around goes, you have powers now. Like, go fight, help. I was watching an episode of Kamen Rider Den-O last night, where Den-O has to go fight a jellyfish monster who attacks a picnic, just like a picnic in the middle of the day in Japan. And one of the things I noticed is the monster shows up. Nobody makes any quips like, wow, who got lost on the way to the aquarium or anything like that. The monster just starts attacking. People appropriately freak out and start running. And when Kamen Rider shows up, when Den-O runs in, he's like, what's the problem? Nobody is sitting there going like, hey, it's the guy or anything. People are still running because they're like, yes, he is a hero. We recognize that. That's a normal thing, but our lives are still in danger. So we got to go. And that's the sort of taking things seriously that you don't see a lot of in our current media. And so that's why it's really, really hard for those design philosophies to sort of cross over or even work together well. Essentially, my argument boils down to, in the West, they have to make it subversive because they think that subversion equals mature. You can't be genuinely excited for anything. You have to be cynical about everything, and you have to, be flippant about things you don't know or you don't understand or you don't care about. And that's just where we are right now. Yeah, exactly. This ain't the Black Pill stream. This is the Neo show. Exactly. Unbound Soul. First off, sup Unbound. Second, welcome the Supreme Heretic to the stream. Grabbing his headphones. What's up, Drew?
What's going on, buddy? What you up to?
Just running the Black Pill. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Had a good stream yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, Rogue Resistance was great yesterday. We talked all about Kyle and what was going on. Everybody was giving their predictions about Bannon whenever he testifies in front of the J6. Mm-hmm. God, that's gonna be crazy because that guy is like no holds barred. So
I don't know anything about the Bannon stuff. Yeah,
that joke of a January 6th committee, they indicted and arrested him for quote for that made up thing. I swear, dude, this is like I know it's not a made up thing, but it always, like, the severity of it makes me think it's a made up thing. Contempt of Congress. Like, what?
Well, it's not. That? He wasn't complying, Drew. They asked him to come testify and give information, and he just said no, and you can't do that.
Well, technically you can, because they're
and you get arrested. That's what contempt is. It's just like in a regular court, if somebody holds you in contempt of court, you can still be arrested. It's not illegal to not, but it is illegal in a court to not, like, abide by what the court is telling you.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't abide by it to either if it was a joke like that.
But that's the thing is, like, that's the thing is, like, I agree with you and I'm right there with you, but at the same time, you gotta, not look at it like, oh, they're attacking him, and recognize that, like, if he gets in trouble for not cooperating, that's like he has to know that those are the consequences. Like accept them instead of crying like, oh,
he's not.
No, I know. I'm saying if
he totally has a plan. That's what I'm saying. Like when he starts testifying, he's going to drop some truth bombs about the government. Is what I'm saying. So
I'm sure
that's what's going to be like good. But to talk about what you were talking about, dude, you were spot on because listen, getting back to that whole idea, the Western audiences, they don't readily take stuff seriously. Mm-mm. You know, that's why I appreciate it, you know, and this is why I go back to something like Robotech.
Yep.
And why it succeeded here. Because it kind of mixed that. It wasn't, you know, it was pretty serious. Robotech was like almost like the way that it was like everything you would see in a movie except just in an anime.
Right, exactly.
You know,
and that's the thing, yeah.
So like, dude, I challenge anybody to sit here and tell me that whole sequence when they have the air battle, Ray Fokker is leading Skull Squadron. And then, you know, he takes what at the time he thinks is battle damage and also, you know, apparently takes some internal damage to himself. Mm-hmm. Doesn't realize the severity of it and comes all the way back to the ship. He's there with his, you know, girlfriend, fiance, whatever, later on. And then he dies. You know, and it was gripping death because you can see the concern on her character. But this is all interplay between characters and the severity of and gravity of the situation. You know,
like in and that's like the exact, like that's the best point. I don't know if you heard last week when I was talking about the Eternals, or I think you were on when I was talking about the Eternals. Mm-hmm. But there's a in the very beginning of the movie, like the catalyst for the plot is like, somebody killed Selma Hayek's character. We got to go like figure it out. And everybody is super sad about it. But like, I don't care. I don't know this character. It's kind of like if I went into like a Carl's Jr. and then like 5 minutes into ordering my food, somebody behind the counter goes, yo, the drive-thru operator's grandma died. And it's like, sucks. But why do I don't care. Like it sucks. It just doesn't have anything to do with me. But they skipped out on all of that inner character development in favor of just like shoving it along. Like it's here, go. Like
you're right.
What it is, Drew, that I just realized, and it's probably something you've observed a lot yourself, is that like they will give you these projects like Eternals or ShangChi or whatever, where the story there is a story, but it is a very quick story that almost feels more like an outline, right? Like this character dies and we go over here, then we do that, and then the movie's over. And it's like, and then what happens? So you get the movie, and then everybody has these questions and goes, what about this? What about that? Afterwards, you always, like with Star Wars, you had everybody coming out like, oh, this is what it means. This is what we meant. The director of this show meant this. It's this weird trend where they give you this outline and then they'll color in what the hell they're talking about later. Like they cannot commit to any sort of like message or not message, but what am I trying to say here? Like they can't commit, like when they go in to make a movie, they're like, they can't say like, this is the story we're going to tell. They have to go, this is the basic story, and we're going to fill in everything else with whatever we need to, like whatever like is the current talking point, whatever is the current activism thing. Like that's what I'm starting to realize, is that these are all outlines for them to fill in later on and say like, oh, this is what that scene meant.
Yeah, this is exactly what it is.
This is what this meant. This meant.
It's
this
hollow.
Meant. And it's like, yes, exactly.
It's always hollow, and that's the problem with, you know, modern entertainment period storytelling, is because, you know, it doesn't matter if it's a video game, a movie, a television show. It's the same formula, ladies and gentlemen, that Spencer just mentioned. All right, you get a very streamlined and thin. It's almost like an unfinished outline, really. Just a bullet by the bullet points type of plot with a bunch of gaps in between, Okay, and then they insert all the latest shit in and expect you to say, here you go, wider audience, enjoy this.
Right? Like, oh, this is what you've wanted all along.
And nobody, and by now, we're so used to being screwed like that, we don't fall for it, and we know better.
No, and people shouldn't. And it's funny you bring that up, Drew, and I think that segues perfectly.
Before you go on, we gotta shout out our boy, 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser.
Nick Weiser, what's up?
This is a man that if you haven't followed him, folks, make sure that you're subbing to Nick Weiser. He's one of the good creators around our fellowship, and man, this dude, he's underrated as hell, man. Nick's got a great channel, and he does good stuff about comics. He does good stuff about movies. Homeboy's right on it, so make sure you check him out. Also,
that's
Nick
bottom line.
He's a member of hashtag Dick's Division.
The crew.
Me and Nick are always on Thursday Night Throwdown, so catch us on there with, of course, our great pal Comics Division. All right.
Absolutely. Oh no, yeah. I wanted to highlight this from Neo, where he says Western Toku transformation. Wow, this is lame. Eastern transformation. Let the blood of millions vanish and the entire sky turns red. And look no further than just the Power Rangers reboot. The transformation sequences in the live action Power Rangers they did a couple years ago were bad. They were the same sort of dumb. You know how Black Panther's suit like materializes on him, how it kind of like builds up, and like Spider-Man's does the same thing in the MCU. That's how they made their costumes, but even then it was not like cool. I don't know. You guys would have to go just look for go watch it yourselves. It's just not that great. Somebody said something here that I wanted to pull up. DC3. All of the current Disney movies lost money. I did see that. I don't have all the information in front of me, so I can't get really into that. But yes, that's what I've been hearing is that and I think it goes back to like Far From Home might have been the last one that was fine, but everything or maybe Mary Poppins, whichever one of those ones came out like most recently before the Coof. Those two were fine, but then like everything since then, so like Jungle Cruise, ShangChi, Black Widow, all that stuff has just completely tanked in money. And I don't know if anybody is really surprised. Guys, I'm gonna be real with you. I tried to watch Shang-Chi the other night because it's it's part of what's in our sphere, just to be informed, whatever. It's hard to get through. That movie sucks, and Simu Liu is just the worst. Like, every time I see Simu's face, I just can't stand. I don't want to interact with any of this person's work ever. But I think that was a yes, exactly. Unbound. Everything after Endgame, as far as I know, was bad. Far From Home was okay. Far From Home was not. I don't even know if I would call it okay. It was all right. The movie is probably worth it just for, or not even the movie, but like the only part that's I can really say that was awesome is probably the last few minutes where his identity gets blown and everything. And that's coming from a huge Spider fan. That movie is weird. It's all over the place. It's an awkward sort of in between. I just feel like they should have skipped it, or done anything else that wasn't that. The Sony movies at least feel like they don't hate the fans. One of the few reasons I want to try No Way Home. I don't know.
They're a little better, but they're not much.
Yeah, exactly. They're a little better, but then I look at things like Blue Electro, Dubstep Electro.
That's like saying, well, solid poop's better than water.
I mean, yes, but it still poops. Yeah, so and then of course, I can never forget the Sony leaks from a couple years ago, the whole North Korea stuff, where there was that one email from I don't remember which Sony executive it was, but it was one of the producers for Amazing Spider-Man, I think, where he was this the email says something like, "Hey, looking over the script, this version of Peter Parker needs to be hip and connect with the youth." I heard that young people are on this thing called Snapchat now. What if Spider-Man had a Snapchat and had a bunch of followers? And it's like, dude, are you really like, how do you do fellow kidsing, like your movie writing process? So like that's why I'm with Drew there. It's like, sure, a liquidy poop is better than a violent poop, but in the end of the day, I'd still rather have a solid poop. Yes, Neo, if nobody's seen it, Iron Man Armored Adventures is in every way better than Shang-Chi and does the 10 rings perfectly. Armored Adventures was this cool little gem they put on Nick for like 2 seasons back in like 2010, 2009, right after Iron Man was a big success in theaters. And it's just a lot of fun. I think I talked about it last week. It's very anime influenced. It's a CG cartoon, but it's anime influenced. I don't know. It's really good. Like most Marvel things were back in that sort of time period. Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Wolverine and the X-Men, all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, definitely check that out. First off, whoa, Neo, how's it going? Totally agree about Shang. Thank you, my man. I knew I couldn't be alone in that. And then Sean the Movie Man, what's going on? He also tried to watch Shang-Chi. I gave up halfway in it. Simu Liu is so bland and Aquafina was annoying. Oh, I can't stand Aquafina. I
haven't watched it, and here's why, Spencer. Because I know how I felt at the time. And you know what you and I have said about it.
Yeah.
How incredibly you know, as Asian men we feel about it. And just how incredibly almost of a disrespectful it is as far as trope wise to us.
Dude, it is. Okay, so I actually caught my dad was watching it on our downstairs TV this weekend. And so like when I was going to the kitchen and stuff, I caught some glimpses of it. I caught the very final moments of the movie, not the post-credit scene, but like the actual movie. And it ends with Shang-Chi's sister taking over the whole organization or whatever. Like she's the bad guy now. But it starts zooming out and it's like, so it like she sits on the throne and it starts zooming out and it shows like the courtyard where everybody's practicing. But then like the first thing that weirded me out, I was like, there's a lot of like white women and black women like in this like hidden Chinese like city fortress. And then it keeps zooming out and you see that their big hidden like base is like not only exposed, but they've got a bunch of like Asian like New York City graffiti everywhere, like graffiti murals that just are like, that feels so weird and out of place. Did this secret evil terrorist organization say, hey man, we need some flavor in here, can you come and like go on Instagram and find a street artist, we need a banging mural? It's like, what are you talking about? Like that's what I mean. Like it is so try hard to me. It's like, oh, what do Asians like? Kung fu and street art. And it's even as they zoom out, it's this it's a hip hop song that's like obviously trying to play into like the Asian hip hop culture, and it's just like you are trying so hard. It feels offensive.
Yeah, and that's a thing. That's a real thing, and I hate that because
Unbound and
but this is the same. But this is the game that they play with racial groups.
Yes, absolutely.
This is the game that they play with racial groups, and it's such a disingenuous bullshit game, and I hate that. You know, so
it is.
Pardon my French, but I mean that's how I feel.
And I mean, it's kind of like what we I want to say we talked about this, or I talked about this last week, or I talked about this. I might have talked about this with John, but this is it is that, Drew. It is that 100%, and like. Especially for Asians, our boy Chris Rufo, the guy who's on the front of battling CRT in our schools and stuff, he the other day somebody pointed out that they went to they were at a University of Maryland training thing, and this was one of the slides that were up there, and it shows that they're now dividing like Asians into white because we are not the right kind of minority. So like that's why, yeah, like I'm sick of it. You pander to like we are Schrodinger's like minority, right? We're minorities when you can use us for stop appy hate and donate to my Patreon. But the second we actually care about something, you pull things like this, like the oh my gosh, I'm gonna find this one. Did you see that tweet from NPR, Drew, about the Boston mayor Michelle Wu who just got elected?
No, I missed that one.
Oh man, I'm pulling it up right now because it is bad. I gotta find my good old boy. This is another person I really love and I recommend following. His name is Drew Holden. He's a great reporter, just fantastic. But NPR pulled this crap yesterday. Michelle Wu, an Asian American, is the first woman and first person of color elected to lead the city. While many are hailing it as a turning point, others see it as more of a disappointment that the 3 black candidates couldn't even come close. So, like, not only do you
when it's convenient for them,
exactly,
we're people of color. When it's not convenient from them, Asians are white adjacent.
Exactly. So, and notice how they don't even like say like what were the black candidates like viewpoints, what were their positions, anything. No, it's just they were black, thus they deserved more than this Asian person. And that's bullshit. And they even tried to like scale it back. And it's like many were and this was their follow-up. Many were hopeful Boston would finally elect its first black mayor, as most of the nation's 30 largest cities have already done. Black activists and strategists, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, why, again, instead of saying like, yes, an Asian woman, like these people who claim to care so much about representation and minorities and blah, 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 instead of going, yay, an Asian woman, that's awesome. They're going, you, an Asian woman? That's not what we wanted.
They don't. And notice how like, you know, and folks, you know, Spencer and I felt very strongly about this because of what was happening just last summer with the violence in the Asian community. And a lot of it was committed by, you know, people of color, sadly. And the thing is you have an article from, you know, what is supposed to be a major outlet that is not supposed to have bias, is what NPR used to be.
Used to claim, yeah.
You know,
remember, this is the same outlet that said we're not going to report on Biden or on Hunter's laptop because it's not a real story. It's not of interest to anybody. And then had to come back and be like, oh, actually,
in the very way that is written, it is written in such a way that it is still gaslighting that face off between black and Asian people, and they're not doing anything. People widely know that the black and the Asian community have had clashes over the past summer, but they're not doing anything to help foster any sort of bridge there.
If anything, they're making it worse.
Yes. They put out a tweet like this, gaslighting it, and it's like, come on.
It's like, don't fall for it, guys. I mean, I'm clearly seeing in the chat that none of you are falling for it. It's just like, I can't stand it. I believe this, Nerdigan. Nerdigan says, I keep thinking about the Crunchyroll panel I went to last year on race and anime. The panelist said that the Japanese see Americans as racially insecure. And it's true. Wrong. They're 100% right. They're 100% right. Like, we're so insecure about, like, what our race... It's this weird point where... So, like, obviously in America, one of the big things is, like, individualism, kind of carving your own path. As we can have the debates about, like, how well you can do that in the country now or whatever, like the opportunities. That's a debate for another time. But essentially, like, we have so many different, like, that's what America is. It's individualism. It's pull yourself up by the bootstraps. It's go carve your own way. And now, because we've gotten to this weird point, and it's not one political or social group's fault. It's sort of like just this general disillusionment we have. If anything, it's just like the government in general, like ever since the Kennedy assassination and Vietnam and all of this stuff, like faith in the government just gets like completely eroded, right? And so in this, where we are now is that instead of trying for anything, we're looking for any sort of battle that a lot of people go, what's an easy battle? I'm already on a team by virtue of how I was born. I don't have to commit myself to anything new or change myself. I just have to be, and that automatically means I win. Okay. And because everybody is so insecure about their place, their individualism in this country, even if they claim not to, it leads to this big identity crisis that we're just flying through right now. Neil Hurston, not just blacks and Asians are misrepresented by Hollywood. I'm Scottish. When I see a Scottish white male actor in a movie, I just know he's going to be a baddie. That is very true. I didn't even really think about that. That's great. So I am Eurasian. The West government and media hates their own citizens. I'm pretty sure everyone is starting to notice that. Yes. I'm also half and half. I'm half just white, lots of different white over there, Jewish, German, all that kind of fun stuff. And then Filipino on my Asian side. And yes, you're completely right. I do see how the media hates everybody who is not them. Like, this is the thing I want to try. And I wish I could communicate to so many different, not so many different people, but to everyone, is that there is division in this country, 100%. But the fight should not be drawn, like the battle line should not be drawn on what media property do you consume? What gender are you? What race are you? Like, none of these immutable traits. It really should be a division of us versus the rich, like, elites, like, for lack of a better term, like all the millionaires, billionaires, all the people, like all the politicians who don't care about us. Like, that's who continues to fuel these fires. That's who continues to divide us. And I just and anything else, hating another person for their skin color, their orientation, whatever, that's all a distraction so that they can keep crapping on us. Whether it's crapping on us through social and fiscal policies or crapping on us through our entertainment. Either way, all of the people in power don't care about uplifting you. They just care about uplifting themselves. And they'll do everything they can to make sure that you stay freaking flat on the ground. Yeah, exactly. What a stupid narrative, right? Jay Lee, I'm 100% there with you. U.S. is racially insecure and Canada giving up all hope to the government. What are you talking about? You guys have the most biracial president of all time. He's both 100% white and, according to photographs, 100% black. Don't forget about this hatred Hollywood has towards ginger folks. Are all essentially, yes, getting rid of them and replacing them with black actors specifically. Unbound Soul, I don't know if you've checked it out, but we have a running list on Bounding Into Comics called, it's essentially just a running list of every redhead that has been race swapped. And yes, it is a very, 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 very weird trend. And I don't even trying to go full conspiracy brain, I can't even begin to fathom an actual like reason for it. I mean, yeah, it is happening. I don't understand it. Maybe maybe the hatred of the Irish just never ended in this country, you know? Maybe that's where we're at. Oh yeah, of course, Godzillionaire. First of all, what's up, Godzillionaire? Always a pleasure to hang out, buddy. Yet the black lieutenant governor of Virginia is a problem somehow. Of course, because she's not the right kind of black. She's not on their black, so she's the enemy. Again, it's all disingenuous, like line drawing. I do not use black nor white when talking about people because skin color can be different shades of beige, tan, or brown. Beige and tan are colors too. Pigments have no effect on behavior. I agree with this. I agree with the pigments have no effect on behavior. That's 100% true. But I think black and white is an accurate term to use when describing people because, and again, like, because you can say like, oh, that guy over there, that guy looks white, or like that guy is white. And sure, he might be Italian, he might be German, he might be French, you don't know, but his skin color is still white. I think the second you start going into shades, that's when it starts getting kind of tricky, where you're like, well, he was a guy about this brown with this sort of pigment, but not all the way over here. So it's kind of just one of those like shorthand things, because it's hard to sort of communicate to somebody without a visual representation. Sean the Movie Man, the secret goal of the super elite who preach far left ideology is to keep the minority races fighting for crumbs so that many of us normies don't see the fake wizard behind the curtain. 100% what I believe. I can't say if it's true because obviously I don't have any objective proof. Or like I don't have anybody coming out to admit it directly to me, like, yes, this is what we're doing. But all the available evidence leads me to believe this. Because how often do we see the dumbest fights over minority, like things like we see so many fights over like this, why isn't this character this race, or why are they that it's like, what that, like, it's clear that you guys are trying to keep us distracted. Like and it happens. One of the best things I think about the Rittenhouse trial, and I'm not going to get super into it because I think we're all probably on at least the similar side. But it's also let's go. We can go to Nick for that. Nick Ricada. I hope everybody's been checking him out this week. But one of the best things about the Rittenhouse trial is that because it's being broadcast live, and this is probably, gosh, guys, I can't remember the last time a trial was live. OJ maybe? No, there has to have been trials since then, but like OJ is like the main one I can remember. But by putting the proceedings like available for anybody to see, I see so many people waking up to like, the media has lied to me. I've seen scores of tweets, and I'm not like exaggerating, guys. Like a lot of left-leaning people, even like neoliberals have been watching this and going, I can't believe how like the media has portrayed this to me. It's completely wrong. Like it's not even like there's no equivalent. Like it's not true. So that's like, I think more people are starting to look behind the curtain, hopefully.
Sorry, you know, Spencer, you know what I had to have. I had to have my coffee.
Hey man, we all got to fuel up with our caffeine.
That's right. So
man, I was falling asleep before I grabbed this before stream. What's up?
So yeah, this is just this thing, you know, and this is part of the reason.
That's what it was, Nerdigans. It was Chauvin. Thank you. Sorry, Drew.
Yeah. This is part of the reason why we have the division we have, because we openly allow them to play this game. You know, once you identify it, once you're hip to it, you can't be controlled by it anymore. And that is the message I think everybody needs to understand, because the you know, the whole gaslight game they play, the whole like 50 flavors of, you know, today's flavor is we're going to hype up the black community. Tomorrow, we're going to hype up brown people. The next day, we're going to hype up natives. The next day, we're going to hype up the Asian people. You know, they stir the pot constantly, playing this game, spinning that wheel of different nationalities that they, you know that they have in the palm of their hand, because they continue to sit there and try and pander and throw like rewards and gifts at them. You can have this social program. You can have this social program if you just vote for us. You know, and that is. But
then they don't even follow through on that. It's like they go, you can have this if you vote for us, and then you vote and you go, all right, I'm ready, and they go, we didn't agree to that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you?
No, we're going to raise your taxes. Yeah, and it's a 100% grift game, but people, I don't think, especially in the minority communities, don't realize just how badly they're being played, and the people that try to tell them that, instead, when you try to spread that message, spread the truth, explain to them that they're being played, they don't want to hear it. As a matter of fact, the extreme communities, like the far left, they come out and they say you're racist.
Scotland too.
you're racist because you dare to think that way. You're racist. The government is on our side. They care. Really?
Bro. Okay, first, I'm going to soapbox for just a second. Left or right, like, I don't care, religious, not religious. I have heard people this week, like, nobody should trust the government, ever. No. And, like, I've heard so many people, I mean, this is all, like, neo-leftists, but, like, neo-leftists. Like, wow, clearly Rittenhouse is guilty because they're fighting against the state. Why would you question the government? And I'm just like, I'm going to lose my mind.
Dude,
like,
Spencer, there are still people that I'm sure even right now, somewhere, somehow, there is somebody that is believing still that Rittenhouse shot black people.
Mm-hmm. I know. That was, well, that's what I said right before you came back with your coffee, Drew. That's what I was talking about. I kind of moved off it because I lost my train of thought. But what I was saying was, like, one of the good things about the Rittenhouse trial is the fact that a lot of people, I've been seeing a lot of people waking up to the fact that the media lies to them. Lots of neo-leftist liberals going like, oh my God, I genuinely thought it was like 3 black guys up until today.
Bunny's got that great comment right there.
Yeah, that's why.
But also, Unbound Soul, right above Bunny's comment.
Oh yeah,
perfect way to encapsulate it right there. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, like this is Neo. LOL. People trust the government. It's like what did I just say like 3 seconds ago? Like ever since like Kennedy, people show like there's good reason to not trust the government. If Vietnam, the CIA, like
if you guys want to live very happy, remember the good old advice that Stone Cold Steve Austin told us, right? GTA, don't trust anybody.
Oh yeah, anybody. I always think it's anyone. Dude, I love Stone Cold. He's just the best.
Yeah. Stone Cold is like red pilled lately, by the way. He's
I know.
He hasn't I think he's always been quietly conservative, but he just basically he recently came out in a tweet or something, and essentially like sort of threw the cards on the table. Not obviously, but people could you could read the tweet and know that like Stone Cold is definitely on.
I mean, the guy is like he lives in Middle America and he owns like he like brews his own beer and stuff. Like I that guy's got to be like at the very least.
Yeah, he brews his own beer. He's got his own ranch. I mean,
Yeah, like at the very least, he's definitely not a neoliberal.
No, not at all. I got whenever you want to get up this, I've got something to share.
Pull it up.
Speaking of entertainment news,
pull it on up.
Because I don't know if we slipped in an article about this or not this week. So let's kind of
Josh. The thing with Rosanna Arquette is like, go check out Josh's. Go check out Josh's reporting. We have a staff member named Josh Berger on Bounding staff, so not like condescending reporting, but our Josh is reporting. Roxana Arquette Rosanna Arquette just like her brain's gone. Like just from an objective point, she is insane.
All right, so this came out a couple days ago.
No, we haven't talked about this yet.
And this is the first teaser for the new Halo series, you guys. And being a Halo fan, I was interested in this, but we've heard things even as far back as a few months ago that it might possibly be woke. So let's check this out. It's only 27 seconds, and I shared audio, so it should be good. Let's go ahead and play it.
Yes, you did.
Hello, Master Chief.
Of course, they would have to. They would have to stick it on Paramount Plus.
Dude, I'm done with streaming service. I hate streaming services so much. But
Master Chief is still a white dude. Jay Lee, how about that?
I know the most surprising development over it.
But the thing is I don't know what to expect from it except the same shenanigans that Hollywood always pulls. I don't, and it sucks to say that as a Halo fan, but I'm excited, but not. You know what I mean?
Right. I do know what you mean.
Because
I know exactly what you mean.
When I watch it, you know exactly what's going to happen, Spencer.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to watch it with the sense of waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Oh, I think that's what everybody just approaches anything with nowadays. Like that's how I feel about Superman and Lois. It's always constantly waiting for just the woke to drop. Honestly.
Now the funny thing too. Oh, by the way, if you guys actually watched that,
I'd watch this.
if you oh god, that would be great, Godzillionaire. If you guys actually watched that video that we just played, because it is here on YouTube. If you watch the actual YouTube video, there is a hilarious, just a sidebar for something that'll make you guys chuckle. Those of you that really know Halo, you remember the whole fallout that Martin O'Donnell, the guy that did the music,
Oh
had
yeah,
with the
343.
company.
Yeah.
The first comment that is left is from Martin O'Donnell that says, "Oh, that's some good music. Wonder where they got that."
Oh, that's awesome.
It's just like he just went in there and just burned it down. Boy, that was great. But I love that Marty O'Donnell left that first comment. That was awesome after how he got screwed over. So
he got so screwed over. They all Bungie got screwed over with Halo. I feel really bad for them.
So yeah, so make sure that
I forget. Drew, was 343, right? Not Bungie.
4 was 343. Yes.
Yeah, that one. I don't like that one. I don't like a lot of them after that.
4, 5 was 343.
And then
Halo
Infinite.
Wars 2 was 343.
Oh yeah.
Just about everything post Halo 3 was pretty much 343.
Right.
Reach was the last Bungie.
That's right, Reach. Like that. So, like, my opinion, like the trailer doesn't do a lot for me because that kind of just looks like the same sort of opening they always have for like Halo games. I don't remember if you remember the trailer for like the announcement trailer for Reach or not Reach, Infinite, but it has like that circle thing where Chief is getting like he's like laying down and it's like armoring him up, kind of like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So like that's standard Halo imagery. I think the suit looks really great for a live action thing. Like if that is the actual like suit he is wearing, that thing looks great. Like holy crap,
the suit,
it's got a lot of detail.
Dude, the suit looked spot on.
It looks
I didn't have
perfect.
any problems with
not at all.
Suit.
Yeah, aside from that, like I'm so like let me pull up that article, Drew, because I know what you're talking about with all the like potential wokeness in it. We did cover that. Let me find it real quick.
So also, you guys, while Spencer's pulling that up, don't forget that there was another trailer. We're not going to play that one, but it was because it came out 2 days ago. Don't forget they put out the multiplayer.
Oh yeah, the multiplayer.
The multiplayer is now out for Infinite. If you want to play it, from everything I've seen, the multiplayer is surprisingly good. It actually looks really good. I've watched some of the stuff of gameplay because I've watched a couple of people's streams. Gameplay wise, it seems like the gameplay is pretty solid, although it's a little more fast paced. And also, good night, Unbound. You have yourself a great evening. Okay, get some rest, buddy. The thing with the multiplayer is the multiplayer to me in that seems a little fast-paced, but that's okay. It's similar to kind of like the pacing of Halo 5's multiplayer. You played that.
Do they still have like a lot of like aim down the sights movements?
There's
like
ADS and there's also there's still also loadouts. You're gonna have that now, no matter what.
You kind of have to.
Every FPS is on the loadout train. Which, listen, I'm more older school, guys. I prefer like Halo 3 style multiplayer.
Give me two guns.
Well, no, Halo 3 was all about, like, for example, if you got in a team slayer, like on the pit or something like that.
Yeah.
All right. It was like you had to be on your game because you had to know you had to know the map because it was all about A, map control, B, you had to understand where to rush the power items. So you had to know, okay, I spawn here, I'm gonna rush rockets. I spawn there, I'm gonna rush sword. I spawn here, I'm gonna rush camo. And you don't have that anymore because of
loadouts.
Everybody's got those stupid loadouts. And that's always been kind of my pet peeve with the loadouts. I enjoyed that. And Halo 3 kind of had a more manageable, tactical, slower pace to it. And that's what
I thought Reach did pretty well with their loadouts, where it's like you get remember it's like you pick your suit like thing, like your armor or your jetpack
Well,
or whatever,
yeah,
and then you get like one gun, but none of the guns are like special guns. It's like an assault rifle or a battle rifle.
You
Everything
had
else has to
either
be
the
found.
DMR or
The DMR or the assault rifle
or the AR or something like that. And then you had to decide if you wanted like armor lock or you wanted camo or you wanted the jetpack. But even that with the loadout, see, like a lot of people would just pick nothing but armor lock or jetpack, and you'd have like people running around doing stupid shit with that. So, I mean, I don't know. I could do without the loadouts, but I mean,
I'm with you there.
I'm fine with it either way. I can play either way, but it just, to me, it was more fun without loadouts, and I'll die on that hill every time.
No, I'm right there with you. That I love that old school shooter thing of like finding your weapons on the map. Like that was always,
you had to have skills, dude, because you
had to have skills.
Like because man, the people that were really good at Halo 3, and you guys know, because I'm sure a lot of you at the time probably watched the pros that played it. Okay, like when you watch people like T Squared or people like that played that were like super good, people knew how to rush. They had it down to the science where they would be like, okay, like I get this map, I'm gonna immediately rush rockets, and I know that I've got like 3 seconds, for example, or something like that. And that's and that was the thing. It took skill. And man, that was
you're 100% on point there when it comes to Halo. Like, just like the feeling of, and like not only the skill in like trying to get to the weapon fast enough, but like, they got the sword. Well, I got to take him out, and then I can take it. Like it's mine now. But with like loadout games, not really. Like the weapon, like when I play Warzone, those guns disappear like really fast. There's not a lot of difference between. It's weird. It's not. I'm with Drew here. I see a lot of people in the chat are on our side. Drew, we got Bunny going, finding weapons on the map. Perfect Dark takes me back. Godzillionaire with that. I still say GoldenEye was the gold standard for FPS. I asterisk that Godzillionaire because if you guys, I don't know if anybody's tried to go play it now on the N64. It runs like crap. Like the controller is bad for it. It's just bad. But dude, if you play it on, like if you get it on PC and you get a mouse and keyboard like mod. Oh my god, that game runs amazing! It's so good,
dude. I love the map design back in the day too. The maps were so solid. Halo 3 had such good maps. Like
3's maps were amazing. 2's maps were amazing.
Like that one map that was like almost like a big platform in the middle, and it had the like things on the side. Called Guardian.
Yes, Guardian.
And whenever Guardian would come up in Halo 3, man, that was my map. I would always like
Revolt.
I would always like go to like the middle. There was like a structure, like kind of a tower, and you go down these back stairs, and people would be going through that open hallway down in the bottom. Man, I would always I remember I got an overkill with a nade down there, like routinely, because I would wait. Because there would be, when people would go down there and they'd be fighting, people would have a tendency to bunch up, and I would just
especially on the bottom floor, because on the bottom floor you've got all those like it's more enclosed than it is on the top floor. Here, in case anybody doesn't remember what Drew and I are talking about, this map.
Guardian,
freaking Guardian, man, right here. There was one map I really liked that was like a street battle, like you were on the street of like Africa, and I can't remember any of the names.
I like Guardian, and I like the pit. The pit in Halo 3 was a killer map too. I love that map.
Gosh.
All
of them were so good.
It was
that game was. I lost so much time to that game.
Oh, dude, hell yeah, man! Because I would play like I had a partner, a chick that I played with named Lisa. Shout out to her. I don't know what she's doing these days, but man, that was my team doubles partner. We used to kick ass together.
Do you remember this map?
I remember this map.
Blackout.
Blackout. Yeah.
I like this map a lot.
and that was a killer map to play on.
I remember that spot
map
we're looking at right there has a sniper on it.
That was a good team doubles map right there. Oh man, yeah.
It was a great doubles map. I loved it for doubles.
Yeah.
Gosh, 2v2s were so fun.
Yeah.
Where is this? Bunny with a keyboard. Even trying to play Perfect Dark's 360 reboot, the controls are awful. That game is just kind of awful. That was a really janky game. I think I brought this up on stream before. I don't know if I have, but one of the things that bugs me about that game is the model of Joanna Dark's hand, like when it's holding the gun, and you see it the entire game. They did something weird with the lighting, so her hands look super wrinkled. So they look super wrinkled, and then she has like long press-on nails. So she just looks like a Florida beauty queen past her her prime, and it weirds me out. Like it just doesn't feel like an action hero to me. Yeah, when they set up that thing for a bunch of old Rare games to play again on the Xbox, that was cool. The Rare replay, because it brought back Jet Force Gemini, and then yes, Ravul, Bungie multiplayer way better than 343 multiplayer, hands down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was.
I don't think anybody will disagree with that one.
No, because like I mean, Halo 3 was so smooth because you could play like so many different things. Because I remember like I used to play grip ball and stuff like that. Which,
grip ball, yeah.
Which hold on, I got a video to search for now. I gotta keep talking, guys, because I gotta find this now.
Yes, Godzillionaire, I just did say Jet Force Gemini. I love that game. I'm a big third-person action game fan. My favorite are character action games like Devil May Cry, Metal Gear Rising, which I'm sure you've all heard me talk about a million times. So I love Jet Force Gemini. I'm so upset that we've never seen it again. I bought Rare Replay just for that game. The Rare Replay Perfect Dark, the controls were awful. Yeah, well, that's because they didn't really map it well or like change it for like a dual stick thing. That's like you have to get like this like people have made mods that make those old shooters work on like twin sticks or on mouse and keyboard. And if you ever can like play like again like the GoldenEye one, play it on your computer with a mouse and keyboard, and it is one of the like it still runs smooth, it still feels great. It's just one of those best ones. Yeah, an underrated gem. Absolutely. Yeah, Ravul, that's kind of what Drew was saying a second ago about like how you like loadouts are here to stay. Like, 343 multiplayer is a COD Battlefield copy, but it's kind of like that's what Drew was saying is like that's just where we are in game development nowadays. Like, it's unfortunate. I don't agree, but it is where we are at. All
right, so this up sharing now. Let's talk about Vintage Halo 3. Yes, this is going to be grainy because this is legitimately old school.
Like recorded in like 2008. Hell yeah.
Yeah, this is from actually 2010.
Dang.
My buddy got this video of me, and this is me in grip ball. We were talking about grip ball.
Yep.
Here we go. I got a kill apocalypse. Double kill, triple kill, overkill, kill-tacular.
They just keep
kill-trocity.
They're like respawning in the right. They were just respawning in the right like intervals to just keep rushing into you. That was great.
Yeah, so that was my kill-apocalypse and grip ball, guys. But yeah, that was original Halo 3 footage.
That was great. Yes, exactly. Beware the Drew. Hashtag beware the Drew. Always beware the Drew. Godzillionaire. Konami gave up on games and just make slot machines now or something. They had Silent Hills in production. Norman Reedus mocap, Del Toro on creature design. Canceled. Yes, you're pretty correct. They are kind of so those slot machines, they're called pachinko machines, and they're Japanese exclusive gambling type slot machines. Go check them out. It's really they're really popular. Or I guess I can give a quick rundown. In Japan, gambling is illegal. You can't you're not allowed to do it. So what you do is you go into these parlors and you put in your credits or whatever. And what happens is you play these things called pachinko machines. And go look at how they play. I'm not going to give you there's so many lights and bells and whistles that it's easier to just go like watch a video. but they have.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries. I'll be here. They have almost like they have a bunch of these types of different machines. Think of an anime, think of a video game, think of anything. It's going to have one. I remember there's one in Japantown in San Francisco that's based on Evangelion. It's fantastic. But basically what you do with these pachinko machines is you put in your credit, the game plays, and at the end you get a bunch of little balls, like little what do they call it? Like ball bearings almost. And you take them to and those are your winnings. That's what you walk out of the pachinko parlors with. So imagine if you went to like an American casino, right? Or a Western casino rather, and when you get your chips, that was what you were supposed to leave the establishment with, like those or your tokens, like from slot machines, like that's what you're supposed to leave with. What you do in Japan then, because it's all illegal, is those are your winnings. You then go to a separate place, which is like just a door over, and they give you money. They buy those bearings back from you, and that's how you win money off of those slot machines. It's a really roundabout way of doing it, but hey, that's how you circumvent the law. That's what Konami has really dedicated themselves to doing in recent years. For Silent Hills, yes, it was a brand new Silent Hill game. Not only was it to star Norman Reedus and have Del Toro on creature design, but it was also to be written by Hideo Kojima of Metal Gear Solid fame and Junji Ito of Japanese horror manga fame. Like, this thing was going to be the best. And yes, they can't removed the demo from the PlayStation Store. It's almost what do you call it, like shovelware, not shovelware, but like lost media at this point, because it's really hard. Like, you can't really get it anywhere outside of old PlayStations that had it downloaded to the hard drive before they like pulled the license. But even then, you would need like a proper, like the right account connected to it. It's all over the place. Yeah, Shinkai, high school people passed around a USB at lunch and a class of computers to play the first Halo. Could always find at least 6 people playing. Those were the days. I remember when I was in like middle school, we used to do that with StarCraft and Warcraft 3 game and a USB drive, pass it over to your buddy, and you're good to go. Nowadays, you've got to download the 40 terabyte update for Call of Duty. Yes, it is literally gambling with more steps. It is 100% gambling with more steps. Yeah, their Silent Hill Christmas sweaters. That's kind of that's all Konami really does now, is like license out their products for merch. Yeah, exactly, Godzillionaire. Salt in the Wounds. The game was called PT, or the demo was called PT. It was going to be great. But on let's see. I think I'll save a little more Halo talk for when Drew gets back, if he comes back. Let us move on to the topic I was going to before we kind of got in that big tangent. Let us talk about the thing everybody, and I think this is a great segue off of like respecting things and Western versus Eastern, the Western versus Eastern discussion we were having. Let us talk Cowboy Bebop. I know that everybody is super excited for this adaptation. I know every week we've covered it. The chat has been. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. It's going to be it's going to be the best series of all time. Netflix has done it. They've changed the anime game. I know that's how everybody feels. But unfortunately, critics don't. And of course, I'm being, exactly your rule. No thanks. I am being 100% facetious. Oh, Drew's back. Yep. Drew, did you want to talk about the Halo stuff, the politics and all that?
Yeah, listen, guys, those of you that follow my channel, like, that I do the Battlestar Galactica stuff. And that show had heavy political themes, but it was limited to politics in that particular universe. I remember when we did this article, and the lady said it was going to be similar to Game of Thrones. She said a lot of the go back to that quote.
So,
lose it. Yeah.
Sorry.
A lot of the
right here.
Yeah. a lot of the background of Halo is a sort of political drama, which it is, to be honest.
Oh, it is definitely
because before the Covenant shows up, there's kind of the whole like separatists versus people that are kind of loyalists to the UNSC government. So you got that. There's a lot of drama unfolding in the sort of outer colonies, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there was that, and then of course the government had their hands in things via the Office of Naval Intelligence, which was a whole nother rabbit hole, which is kind of almost like now I kind of look at that whole thing in a different way, because you could draw the allegory line if you were trying to make a real world connection and say, well, it's the average people against this United Nations globalist government. You could say that technically, but they're talking about kind of injecting it with I hope they don't do it. Game of Thrones has already been done. You don't have to redo Game of Thrones with a Halo skin on it. That's like the thing.
I mean, you're already going to get Game of Thrones with a Wheel of Time skin and a Lord of the Rings skin and an everything else skin. So
yeah, I mean, and we know that Hollywood is notorious for not doing original ideas. They regurgitate the same thing. So, I don't want to see the plot of Halo unfold in a Game of Thrones, way, because it wouldn't make any sense.
Right.
100%. I think that the politics in the Halo-verse would be fine if they stick to politics in the Halo-verse. But if they try to inject the whole like marginalized groups trope and everything else, it's not going to work.
And like that's what I worry about, Drew, is that like, yes, like we all talk about this all the time, you, me, John, Don, like if you do political dramas but your politics are based in your world, that's fine, that's great. I know John loves a lot of that, like Castle in. You start bringing these real world things and try to inject them into your fiction, like your fiction full of fantastical elements, whether they're superpowers or spaceship, Halo rings, like all these things, it doesn't work anymore. And I worry that they're going to they'll take that angle, Drew, but they'll take it with the Covenant. And they'll be like, look at the enslaved grunts and everything. And, but look, even though the elites are oppressing, they're oppressed. I don't know. It's going to be weird, dude.
Dude, Ravul Arbita says the Halo comics published by Marvel are pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Those
Oni does not exist. Sword Base is not real.
Yeah, Oni does not exist.
I love it.
Those Halo comics are some of the best action sequences in like a drawn thing I've ever seen.
I actually oh God, I think I kind of I like that part of the campaign in Halo Reach, by the way, reveal when you had to fight at the Oni sword base.
Oh yeah,
the bunny.
That's a good swarm wave map. What the hell is that called? Firefight. It's a good firefight map too.
Shinkai Atsuya says, remember when shows had politics, it wasn't a complete mess. You'd say shows Avatar could have political elements but was still enjoyable. Yes.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're worried about. Buddy with a keyboard says we want it to be Game of Thrones. Okay, so you'll give us a few good seasons at best, and then it'll fall to complete garbage. I'll pass. And
well, here's the thing about Halo. I don't even know if it's going to make it past one season because of this. Earlier this year, back in June, the show lost both of its showrunners, and then its new showrunner said that I'm out after one season. Like, that is worrying to me. Kyle Killen had already left the series, and then Stephen Kane was the only one left, and he's like, I'm out after the first season. Like, I just can't do it. And it's like, wow, like how bad is it? And like it even says here, while Kane will remain in his role as Halo showrunner until the post-production process wraps on its first season, the producer will not return in any capacity should the series receive a second order. As after having been in Budapest now for the past 2 years, he now wished to return stateside for personal reasons. Which is like, so you've been working on this for 2 years in Budapest? That's not good. Like this is
Kane. I mean, honestly, Kane's really good because I watched.
Oh yeah, no,
I watched that show, The Last Ship, and I actually really liked that show, dude. When I watched it.
Oh yeah, this is nothing against him as like a showrunner. Like I have faith in him as a showrunner. It's the fact that he's leaving and everybody is jumping ship. That's like a bad sign to me. Right. Like that just makes me go, ooh.
And don't forget, guys, just like 90% of all the other game studios, 343 is on the woke bandwagon because when you remember, and Spencer and the guys did that story on the armor options that they just put in Master Chief Collection. Where,
that was so dumb.
I mean, and how stupid is that? I mean, it's absolute stupidity. So,
I'm right there with you. That's why I read it. I was like, this is so dumb. Just leave them boy, girl, male, female. I don't care.
So I'm gonna probably try out this multiplayer for myself and see how good Halo Infinite's multiplayer is, and we'll see. We'll see what that's like. I'm not sure how the actual game's going to be, how the story's going to be, because I was not impressed from what I've seen so far of what they've shown us of the single player campaign. Matter of fact,
I'm just done. I've been done with the 343s. The second 343 said Master Chief was a chosen one. Was like, I'm done. Like, I can't do this. This is so stupid.
Yeah, more. I'll be if I'm being honest with you folks in the chat. Okay, I could say the only thing that I'm halfway excited about, gaming wise, that is coming down the pike very shortly, is probably the revamp that they're doing to Star Wars: The Old Republic, because I may resub to that game just for the simple fact of the changes that they're making to it. But and the expansion that's coming out. That's about it. And I'm pretty leery about that too, because I'm afraid that they're going to screw up the entirety of the Old Republic era and its timeline and all of the KOTOR stuff. They're really going to.
I'm surprised you're even willing to give them a shot. I know. Great. We've done a couple stories where the people working on it have already outright declared, like, yeah, we got to change some things. Like, this can't do this.
Buddy's comment is great. If Master Chief is the chosen one, is he going to fight Neo, Liu Kang, and all the other chosen ones in a big tournament soon?
Yeah, I wish. That'll be coming. The Paramount Cinematic Universe.
Oh God, that would be great. Chris Neville says woke poison is everywhere. You can't escape it now. Yeah, Chris, and thank you, by the way, for stopping by. I know you're a big supporter of our channel and also mine, because I see you pop by quite a bit. Listen, I talk about all the time. Woke, unfortunately, is permeating everything, and you can't get away from it. And a lot of it has to do, it goes back to what we're talking about, ideological subversion, where they want to keep you basically hammered with this stuff 24/7. There is no space you can escape to, and it's sad. Tehillim says Darth they them Revan. Ah, God. Dude, no, please tell me no. Oh, God. That's why, at least with the SWTOR expansion, it's going to stay consistent with what with what Star Wars: The Old Republic's about.
I don't think it will, because of this very interview. If it would load, Where is my StreamYards window? So yeah, a couple, or just last month.
I understand that, but
no, but like they straight up say right here, Drew. We want this. Kellogg went on to hint that they will be changing character designs, dialogue, and more. Quote, we want this game to be just as beloved as it was before. Some of my favorite meetings to have in my week right now are to get into the nitty gritty with Asper, who's developing it, and talk about why did we make that choice in the original game and how does that play today? How do we expand that choice and make it even more meaningful and impactful? We think about literally every word of dialogue and other choices down to the clothes that the character is wearing. We trust Asper, we trust the team that's working on it, and we're doing the work ourselves to dig in, deconstruct, and reconnect to why people love it, because we don't want to mess with that. We love it too, and so we want to do it right. We hope everybody feels we've done this game a service when all is said and done. So that to me says, especially this, we think about literally everything, every word of dialogue down to the clothes that the character is wearing. I'm out. I know exactly what that means.
KOTOR won't stay. Well, no, KOTOR is going to get absolutely.
Oh, you're talking about just the Old Republic.
I'm talking about. I'm talking about.
Okay.
SWTOR and the MMO.
Yeah, the MMO. My bad.
I'm talking about the expansion that's coming out. I believe it's out in a couple weeks, and this is where they're revamping the classes, the skills, the whole 9 yards, and they're adding a new story expansion.
Right. That's right.
The way that they've written SWTOR, the MMO, it hasn't been woke. I don't think that they're going to wokeify SWTOR anytime soon.
Let's hope.
So right now that's safe to play, at least in my estimation. But 100% though, what Spencer's saying about the KOTOR remake, it's absolutely going to be this
doomed
absolute woke nonsense, and of course they won't be able to have romance between Revan and Bastila, because God, they'll probably make Bastila a lesbo
and make it or just take out all the romance options, because can't have that.
Or they'll do something new with Revan and Bastila. They'll be like, we have to include Karth because polyamory. Well, we got to have our own pod.
Well, all I have to say is if you chose to get with Bastila, that is a low tier choice. Bastila sucks.
Bastila was seriously kind of a diva, dude.
I love her. She's a great character. It's just I would not want to be romantically interested with her.
I never understood why Revan married Bastila, because that was just the chick that gave you warning signs do not make this chick your wife.
I mean, to be fair, Evan gives off warning signs. Don't make him your husband. He's a former Sith who killed everybody and thinks that if he goes light side, that just means A-okay. It's not as clear cut as that.
Yeah. Well, Bastila was kind of a hot mess on her own. But
I mean, kind of. I don't know.
Oh God. Well, you see, to be fair, though, you didn't have much in the way of choices in that game. I mean, what were you going to do? I don't think there was anybody that wanted to romance Juhani. And if you did want to romance Juhani, that's just, oh, God, she was even worse than Bastila.
Yeah, she was. I didn't like Juhani either. She was super annoying. But you had there was not a lot. I think it was Bastila, Juhani, and then Karth for the female version.
Yeah,
that's it. So yeah, there's not a lot there.
And then Karth was just the typical simp man. If you were playing a chick character, God, he was such a simp.
What are you talking about, Drew? No, he's just a normal. He's a Han Solo type. That's. I
don't know, man.
You can't. You've got to stop crying woke wolf. Just because he liked her and deferred to her because he had feelings for her does not mean he's a simp. In that regard, the second John decides to help his wife with something because she asked him for help, he's a simp, and I don't agree with that. A simp is a very specific mindset where you look at someone and you go, I love everything you do. Please notice me. Please, I'm going to keep giving you money and attention in the hopes that you're going to pay attention to me. That's a very specific way of acting.
Well, I don't know. Okay. Well, I don't know. Cart just seemed like he didn't have that much backbone. He was always deferring to the wife. That's all I was saying.
He was always deferring to Revan.
Yeah.
Like what are you talking about?
But yeah, like I said, if you were a female Revan and you romance Cart, he was.
No, he's a male Revan. He always defers to male Revan.
Oh, even as female Revan, he defers to you.
But that doesn't have to do with gender. That has to do with the character. You're Revan. It's the main character.
Well, true.
You can't have it. Nobody's going to create an entirely separate line where.
Tehillim says you could romance Jolie.
Could you romance Jolie? I couldn't remember. Jolie Bindo. If that's what you guys want to say, go ahead. I don't agree. I think it's a ridiculous claim, but go for it.
So he's a Revan simp.
No, he's not a Revan simp.
Oh man. Oh god. It's just a funny conversation to have. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I get it. But do you have anything else to say about Star Wars or Halo?
No, so we've got that stuff definitely in the works. So that is coming. Obviously, the teaser confirms that Halo is going to be a thing. I'm still not happy. It's just Paramount Plus only. I think it would have been better served if it was a Showtime show. Because at least there might have been some boobies.
But that's like the same. Oh, you only care about nudity. Never mind. Okay.
I don't just care about nudity, but
that's what you said. Cause you said it should be on Stars so it could have boobies.
But I'm never going to turn down boobies. And that's just me. I'm a toxic male. I'm not gonna apologize for being a toxic male. But but no, it being on Showtime, it could have been a little more gritty as far as maybe the realism and things like that. Oh God, do you remember that one? There was this one live action thing. I'm trying to. Oh God, I can't for the life of me think about it. I got to search for this again because it was like one of the most badass representations of Halo I ever saw, and now I'm interested in finding it.
Okay.
But while I look for that, go ahead.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, while you look for that, I think we will finally, guys. Let's finally get to Cowboy Bebop because I know that we've had like 3 false starts so far. So. In case anybody didn't see, on Monday, the review embargo for Netflix's upcoming live-action Cowboy Bebop. And if you thought that was a mouthful to say, trust me, I have to write it every time, and it is a lot to type out every time, too. And if you guys will remember, prior to the review embargo coming up, when trailers were releasing and interviews and all that stuff, you had the media going full defense mode, saying it's going to be great. Danielle Pineda is going to be fantastic as Faye. Anybody complaining about this is just a horny male. And in the end, everything that we predicted has been confirmed because not even critics like this show. As Nerdigans mentioned up top, Cowboy Bebop currently has 41% on Rotten Tomatoes. I believe that was, and then on Metacritic, and I believe this was a couple days ago. This was Monday, so I haven't checked lately. We might as well. And then Metacritic at the time had a 38, which was bad. So let's see. Cowboy Bebop currently holds a 42. It went up. All right.
So
you gotta add it. There's nothing for me to add.
Yeah. So this was I don't know if you guys remember this. This is an oldie but goodie, but it was awesome. This was called Halo Landfall, and to this day, this was still one of my favorite things. And
we can't watch all 7 minutes of this.
But this
was the live action thing, right?
Yeah, this
was a really good commercial. This was
really awesome. So here we go.
Wait, Drew, we can't play all 7 minutes of it.
No, I'm gonna fast forward through.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, if you just look at this was like super cool. Like the detail, like look at the BRs, the pistols, all this stuff, the warthogs. Because there was a rumor that they had actually had staff working on this as a live action thing. But I want to get to the combat part because this is what was awesome.
There you go! Got it!
Dude, how cool is that, Spencer? Look at how.
Oh no, I remember seeing these when they first came out. I love these.
Package retreat! Roger that, Team 2. Warthog inbound. Come on.
When you see these guys get hurt too, they really get messed up. The dudes make that run for the warthog.
Bravo Kilos moving west.
Oh wow, they got the Banshees like spot on. I forgot about that. Oh! See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what Halo should be like about.
Nearest medic is Sector 6. Deviate from original course, move to Sector 6. Master Chief's re-entry is minutes away. You're on the Chief. Just get this thing out of me now!
I think that's good, Drew. I don't want to get us dinged.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pull it off the stream right now. I just don't want us to get dinged. And,
yeah, I wanted to see the part where the Chief didn't mess that dude up though.
No, it's a great part. I think everybody should go check that on their own because it's really, really good.
Yeah, it is called.
It's coming off across like really poor quality on our stream because we're just going through things. So definitely go check it out. Halo Landfall. It was made with Bungie and everybody working together on it, so it's fantastic, guys. Like it's really good. I mean, that was just a quick preview of it.
Can you imagine though, like if the TV show was like that?
It would be great. I hope it is. I hope it's similar to that.
Dude, oh my god, that would be so dope.
Yeah, I would totally be in for that.
Dude, you would be fanboying out if it was like
Oh, absolutely, I'd be fanboying out. I fanboy out with most things Halo, or I used to at least.
I wonder, I hope it's not like a case of like Star Trek Discovery where they take and make the the alien.
I don't know why you think like of course that's what it's going to be. I don't know why you think they're not going to pull a Discovery. It's even on the same platform from the same studio. Like
what I'm saying is I don't want them to do like they did with the Klingons in Discovery, where they look nothing like Klingons.
But that's what I mean. They are going to do that.
I hope they're
going to do that.
I hope they don't do that to the elite.
Brutes are going to look weird. The elites are going to look weird. The arbiter is going to be some weird half elite, half human hybrid. Like I know that's what's going to happen.
Oh my God, Spencer, please don't. Oh God, don't kill it for me, because I'm gonna feel so awful.
It's gonna happen. I come back to this timestamp our stream tonight and come back and and catch me in like next year after the show airs, and I'll be so right. It's gonna be a weird half Covenant thing.
My Mickey Chief will be the star of Halo, or Mikey Chief. Oh,
Mickey, no, he means Mickey.
Mickey Chief,
like Mickey Mouse.
Oh,
yeah, guys.
God.
So I guess go check out Halo Landfall and buckle up for the series, I guess. But with that, let's get back to Cowboy Bebop because I feel like I've been teasing you guys way too long talking about this. So as you can see, 42% right now on Rotten Tomatoes, which is, again, 1 percentage point higher than it was when I wrote the article on Monday, which is not fantastic. And, oh, look at that. I believe that is 2 points higher on Metacritic than when I wrote it on Monday. So I guess it's ticking up. But, again, a lot of the critic reviews are very wishy-washy. It's not as bad as Eternals, where people would go, this movie kind of sucks. I don't really know. It is a thing, and then give it a 5. It's a lot of like a C minuses, like D's, like from the most positive people, because they're just like, it's all right. We'll get into it. Like the best one of the more positive ones came from Deciders Megan O'Keefe, who said, all of the good things about Netflix's Cowboy Bebop are betrayed by poor writing, uninspired action scenes, and a truly baffling obsession with the most annoying characters in the series. Cowboy Bebop is the textbook definition of a mixed bag, full of glimmers of extraordinary promise and confounding choices that cheapen what made the anime version a masterpiece. I hated it. I loved it. It made me desperate to just watch the anime again. And even the most like positive one I could find came from this reviewer at Rolling Stone, who said that it's Cowboy Bebop's a fast-moving, pulpy hit, but then he also admitted that he's only seen clips of the original anime. So he even says, I can't speak to how faithful or satisfying fans of the original will find its Netflix live-action remake, but the new version very much feels like a project with anime roots and has, for the most part, figured out how to make its influences work with flesh and blood actors and practical sets. It's a lot of fun. Again, even that, like that statement of it figured out how to make its influences work, he doesn't know that. He can't, that's not a positive statement, because he just admits in the preceding sentence that I've never watched this. I don't know. I've only seen clips of it. And even Polygon straight up like tore into it, saying, where was it? Oh, did I do this thing? Oh no, it's just the one quote. It's the one quote. Quote from Polygon's Toussaint Egan: those divorced from memories of the '98 series may see something different in lighthearted yet excessively violent interpretation of the material. But as a blip in the timeline of Cowboy Bebop's legacy, Netflix's first live-action series is a failure, however noble and interesting. The truth might be that what works in animation often does not, or simply cannot, work in live action without self-consciously making fun of itself at its own expense. Cowboy Bebop is proof. And that making fun of itself at its own expense, I think, later, Drew, I think that is a little misguided. I think what they're trying to say is that it's not making fun of itself, it's taking itself seriously, which is what we were talking about earlier, because there's no point in the original anime where they're like making jokes about themselves or quipping or going like, again, no, wow, isn't it so weird that we're on this ship? Wow, isn't it so weird that that dog is smart? There's none of that. It's all just kind of played straightforward and taken seriously. So that's what I think they're going, or what the Polygon reviewer was going for. Where was, this one right here. This was great. From Paste Magazine's Austin Jones. He admitted that Netflix's Cowboy Bebop often feels like a slap in the face. Let me rewind. He starts off by saying, like, he does not particularly feel precious about Cowboy Bebop, and explaining how, like, yeah, I knew the series existed and I watched it, it was cool, but I wasn't the biggest fan like everybody else is. So he prefaces his review with that. And then he says that he found the show to feel like a slap in the face, saying, many moments in these 10-hour-long episodes go beyond just your average cringy attempt at recapturing the magic of the source material it's based on. It's actively grotesque in its bastardization of the original show. Adding later, the unfortunate truth is Cowboy Bebop's failings will be blamed on a market unwilling to compromise. It's already happening with easy scapegoats like John Cho's age or Daniela Pineda's costume. Like, that's 100% true, and you know that that's what's going to happen. We saw it when the first images of Pineda in her costume came out, when the first images of John Cho as Spike came out. Like, yes, these are the criticisms, and these are exactly what they're going to use to deflect. You see it, they're going to take all these, like, it's going to be the sexist card, it's going to be the incel card, it's going to be the same thing we see pulled every time someone who cares about this stuff. Like, that's probably the biggest thing, is that, like, essentially when you go to them and you're like, hey, this isn't right, this is a weird characterization, they look back at you and go, why do you care? As if it's uncool and like unwanted to care about these things. Well, you know, like your favorite properties. Yeah.
Well, you know, Spencer, one of the things that they'll say, one of the deflect points they always like to go to is, well, we had to make changes because the original show reflected outdated attitudes. Or let's see, or, well, this costume projected a certain attitude towards women, so we couldn't use it. We had to update it. You know, we had to be more progressive about things. And again, they always go to that card for these excuses, and that's what makes me so mad about it, because it's all bad faith excuses.
Bad faith. It's 100. That's the perfect word, because it is bad faith. They don't care to engage with you. They don't care about what you have to think with it. There's nothing there. Again, it's the turning to you and going, why do you care about this? Like why? Like, you know, when you see a kid, like, I mean, I don't even need an analogy. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, where you know something, you know Halo, you know Cowboy Bebop, you know Captain America, whatever. And you go, hey, this isn't completely accurate. And it, like, I don't like it because I've grown up with this character. I'm a fan, like a big fan. They look at you and they go, so why do you care, nerd? You're so weird.
Yeah.
Who cares this much? Just be quiet. Do you want to show how uncool you are? And it's like, well, 3 years ago, you all wanted to be nerds. You, for lack of a better term, and I am stretching it, it was cultural appropriation of nerd culture. Like, everybody wanted to be a nerd. I'm so nerdy. I love video games, blah, 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 blah. And no, you don't. You just wanted our money. You wanted attention.
They were posers, dude.
They 100% posers. That's literally what they are.
Yeah.
Exactly. What they're really saying is, we know better than the person from another culture who created it.
Yeah.
Well, especially with Cowboy Bebop, because in case you guys didn't know or you didn't remember, here, I'll look it up right now. The creator of Cowboy Bebop, they asked him, or the director of the original series, they asked him for input. They said, hey, can you give us some notes? And that was it. To the point where he went on an interview and said that I pulled up the wrong article. Oh, there it is. Yeah, he straight up told in an interview, like, let's see, where, I'll get down to it. Yeah, I read the initial concept and provided my opinions, but I'm not sure if they will be reflected in the final product. So that to me is like, hey, you got any notes? Okay, we'll think about it. Well, maybe. And then he straight up says, then he's asked, as the original creator, how would you feel if what you saw in the original scenario pitch and what was broadcasted differed? And what Watanabe said, that would leave a sour taste in my mouth. However, for example, when transitioning a manga to an anime, if the original author speaks out on various points, it makes the work for the anime staff and it won't necessarily make it a good product. That's why I have no choice but to pray and hope that it will turn out to be good. And he laughs at it. Also, for Cowboy Bebop, I don't have any right to stop it. Those rights are in the hands of Sunrise. So if you have a complaint, please send it to them. So, like, yes, they do think they can do better than it's exactly what Neo was talking about at the very top when we were talking about Kamen Rider. It's trying to take a different, like, the Western storytelling philosophy of subverting your expectations and undercutting everything to make, like, to not take it seriously, and applying it to an Asian production that takes itself 100% seriously. And that's where you get these really weird discrepancies. There is literally the worst thing I found when reading these reviews. Let me go back to it. A freelance, this guy, Stephen Nguyen Scaife, he's a freelance critic. He works for, like, Slate, Paste, a bunch of different places. But look at this. He straight up told people, if you've been on the fence about the show, there's one point where Faye dramatically says, I'm not going to carry that weight. And if you've watched the show, you know you're going to carry that weight is, like, the big emotional lesson or, like, message, like, connection theme of the entire show. So again, they looked at what the Japanese creator did and said, no, we can't take that seriously. That's so stupid. Make her make a joke about it. And now we have our series. There's even, like, so one of the things that I know you guys have heard me talk about a bunch is Daniela Pineda's costume, because let me look it up. Sorry, Drew, there's too much background chatter. I can't hear, so I put you on mute for a second. Where was it? I guess I didn't write anything about it, but obviously, you know, I've talked about Faye's entire character in the original series was a femme fatale. You can clearly see she doesn't. If you've watched the original series, she doesn't she's not a gunslinger. She's not running in, blowing away everybody. She's not getting into hand-to-hand combat like Spike. If she fights, it's normally, here's a submachine gun and I'm gonna blow everybody away, and then I'm gonna run. Or it's I'm gonna get in my ship because I know that I can't fight like on the same level, and I'm gonna go take care of them in my ship. She's a practical person to the point where it almost looks like she's being a coward, right? Like, why would I go chase an armed criminal alone? Of course I'm gonna get in my ship. And she uses her appearance, like her sexuality, as a weapon. She uses it to get info. She uses it to deceive everybody. You even see that she tries to use it on Spike and Jet when they first capture her, and it doesn't work on them. But the whole thing about like right here, the costume designer saying, we didn't want Faye to be sexualized, or Daniela Pineda saying things like, oh, we wanted to make sure this was it looked like a real person would be. Or no, that wasn't Pineda. That was another person on the staff. Somebody on the production crew was like, oh, we needed to make sure that Faye's costume would look like what a real person would wear. And then Pineda followed that up with like, we tried the original costume and it just kept getting lost in certain crevices. So of course we're not going to do that. But like, it's missing the entire point of the character to take away her sexuality, and even worse, to put her as a fighter. And I say that, and that's a roundabout way of saying I have seen a preview from, or not, I've not seen it. I read a preview from a critic who got early access, who straight up says that there is a point in this show, and I'm going to swear here for a second, just because I'm quoting the line, where Faye not only takes out a bunch of dudes on her own, like hand-to-hand combat fights a bunch of guys on her own, but literally says, welcome to the ouch, motherfuckers. Like, really? Not only is that not Faye, you've missed the entire point of the series. You've missed the coolness. And again, you're putting in a stupid ass quip to undercut that character's seriousness. This generic, like the generic badass female prototype that we have now in Hollywood is boring as crap. And she is literally just that, what am I trying to say here? Like the singularity of #girlboss, right? And it's completely missing the point of her character. The only issues I have with Faye is that she is Singaporean. Haha, have they seen an actual Singaporean woman? No, it's literally what we were talking about before, DC3, with it's okay to race swap Asian people. They don't give a shit. They don't care. Like, again, nope. If it was a black person or a Latin person or almost any other person, Netflix would be like, we have to cast them. They have to be this. But no, it's cool. We'll totally throw away the fact that Faye is Chinese, Singaporean, because Danielle Pineda, like, who? It's dumb. It's not worth throwing away your character for this actress. Yeah, exactly, Nerdigans. Some of these normies don't even watch anime or read manga. They just get pissed at anything woke. Yeah, that's another problem we have. Just so many people calling woke at anything. Like, this is a specific woke thing. This is, let's change a character because she was too sexy and we got to make her like a strong female character. That's like a woke thing.
Did we get our super chat?
Not yet. I'm getting to it. Okay. Don't worry. I have it. So yeah, there are a lot of people. I like to classify them as like the boys who cried woke, which is like,
I love it.
Yeah, like for example, with the One Piece casting, everybody saw that like there's a Mexican guy is playing Luffy, and a Japanese dude Zoro, and a black guy Usopp, and everybody started screaming, "Look at this racially diverse casting! This is so woke! This is so dumb! I'm out!" And I'm sitting here, and I know I was talking to Nerdigans about it, and I'm just like, these guys are idiots because this is literally how Oda designed them. If they were actual fans, they would know that Oda straight up said, "Oh yeah, Usopp is African, Luffy is Brazilian." Nami is Swedish. So these are actually super accurate. Again, don't let yourself get so blinded by trying to fight culture wars all the time that you start just snapping at shadows, because then not only are you going to never be able to enjoy anything by just because you're going to go, oh, woke, nope, but you'll also hinder our like the arguments of like our community and our and not just you as an individual. I mean, anybody doing it. If I did it, it would be the same thing, because the more you cry woke at things that aren't necessarily woke, the more people can point to that and go, see, they just cry woke at anything. But if you choose your battles, they have to go, man, they cry woke, but look at what they cried it at. They cried it at Daniela Pineda. They cried it at XYZ. So like that I'm definitely with you there, Nerdigans. Where are we? Yeah, exactly. Woke female characters never go through growth beyond now I know how awesome I am, or like WandaVision where they just go away. It's true. Because I know we've talked about it with John before, but like if you are we talked about it a lot when they announced that Jonathan Kent's boyfriend was gay, right? Or bisexual, whatever you want to call him. The second you put a character in one of these sort of categories, like female, black, LGBT, that makes him untouchable. That's half of why so many of these stories are so boring to read nowadays. It's because if you introduce your story and I know 7 people are completely protected from anything bad happening to them beyond like, oh, I lost my sword, then how am I supposed to care? Like, imagine if at the beginning of Lord of the Rings Fellowship, if all of the Fellowship, if there were only like let's say everybody but Frodo and Sam, right? Everybody but them were some sort of token minority, token identity. That would be a boring movie, because I would know, well, the only people who are really in danger are Sam and Frodo. So why do I care that Aragorn is being attacked? Why do I care that Legolas is outnumbered? Like, you don't, because they have this protection, and that's what Pineda has. Just the sheer fact that of what we've seen of her characterization, how she's just the strong #girl boss now, and the fact that that flippant line of like, I'm not going to carry that weight. Like, yes, you are that. There's no development there. There is no character development there. It's me, mine, and that's all I care about. Let's see. What are we going? Where was that super chat? We got a $5 super chat from Godzillionaire. I blame Big Bang Theory for destruction of our beloved franchises. Hollywood started catering to normies and fake geeks, and here we are. I don't blame them for the destruction of our beloved franchises. I think that was as soon as it went mainstream, as soon as Marvel put out Iron Man and started a cinematic universe, that's when franchises started getting destroyed, because it went from, again, niche product with a niche audience to biggest audience possible for the most amount of money. And so when you do that, if you want to make a product that's appealing to everybody, you have to, carve away the edges to make it just the most bland product possible. Can't have this phone because guess what? Some people don't like military time displayed. Got to get rid of that. Some people don't like a touchscreen interface. Got to get rid of that. Some people can't use buttons properly. Well, we don't want to offend them. Got to cut those off. And now what am I left with? I'm left with literally nothing. Like, that's probably that was the best unplanned example possible. I'm left with nothing because you've taken out everything. What I do blame Big Bang Theory for is this is for sort of making the identity of being a nerd this sort of OMG quirky thing, right? Like, I much prefer the days when I just got ignored or made fun of than somebody going oh my gosh, you're such a nerd. Oh my, me too. I love superheroes. Oh my God. And it's like, do you though? Like it's cool if you're a casual fan, but it's weird that you're trying to put yourself on the same level as the dude wearing the Dragon Ball shirt. Like, I don't know. It's super weird to me. But that is nothing. That is all to say. Big Bang Theory is probably the worst thing to happen in TV in years, and I do not like that show. It is so bad. Da, 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 da.
No, Reveal Arbita, you're right. It is fake fandom.
It's 100%
what I
fake
like
fandom.
to call faux fandom.
Yeah, faux fandom is faux-dom. Yeah, Godzilla. I've had the same conversation with so many people.
Show.
I've had this conversation. Like, no, I call that show nerd blackface. That's literally that's how I feel about it.
There was only one episode of that show I enjoyed, and it was the one where and I'm sure you guys could guess that Katie Sackhoff was in.
Oh, of course. Like the one episode that always like stands out to me about how not funny that show is there's an entire episode where the main character Sheldon spends the entire episode in like a Best Buy because he can't decide whether to get a PS4 or an Xbox One. And isn't that so funny, guys? Like the laugh track goes off like every I'll get the PlayStation. But the Xbox comes with Halo. Ha 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 ha. And it's like, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to throw myself off a bridge. Like I can't do that.
All right.
Yeah, some people use fake fandom to flirt, and I think most people can differentiate if somebody's trying to just actually have a conversation with you, or if they're trying to overrun you or preach at you or whatever. In real life, I will admit that fake fandom is probably more. If somebody's coming up to you with fake fandom, and they're talking fake fandom, they're more than likely 80% of the time just a normal person trying to either flirt or get to know you, whatever. Like don't get angry at them. But it's when people start trying to talk over you, right? When they go, "Oh, I've been a fan forever, so I know that this series should change." That's when you need to be like, "Okay, show me your credentials. Like we got to gatekeep. Like show me your badge. Show me your badge." Bazinga, exactly, dude. I hate it. There was a period back in 2011, 2010, where I would wear a Flash shirt and everybody would come up to me and be like, "Oh, it's shirt Bazinga. I love that show," because Sheldon wears a Flash shirt on the show, and I'm just like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna cry. I'm going to.
You made you want to burn your shirt.
Oh, dude, I wanted to burn the shirt. I wanted to tell people I don't even know what the Flash is. And that's the other great thing, Jay Lee. Yeah, that excuse. That show is not made for you, dude. I hate. Then who's it made for? You. If it's not made, I'm specifically talking about Cowboy Bebop here and other adaptations. If it's not made for fans, then why are you adapting something? Who cares? Other than the fans that know what you're adapting. The normie audience viewer that you're trying to pull in by making Daniela Pineda the soy-faced version of Faye, they don't care that it's Cowboy Bebop. You could have literally called it Samurai Spaceman, whatever. And completely changed all the characters, and they wouldn't have known the difference. They wouldn't have cared. So that to me is the only reason you are adapting something or using these series or source materials is because you want those fans. So why? It's one of those questions that I just don't understand. Obviously people keep giving them money, which I think is where a lot of us. I know John and I typically disagree that. We both agree that it's not likely that they're going to listen to you if you vote with your wallets, but that's kind of the only action we can really take right now. They're not going to listen to your tweets. They're not going to listen to your strongly worded letters. They're only going to care if you hit them in the pocket, which means no more going to theaters to check out the latest Marvel movie to even make fun of it, which means not buying the Guardians of the Galaxy game just to stream it and make fun of it, which means not buying any more of their toys or anything just because it's a character you like. That's where you have to be super careful about what you're consuming. And that's just that was my what you call it? Tangent. My tangent. It is like bullies lying about being heavy metal music fans, only to bully fans and bands for being cute or for having different opinions. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Anybody who comes in here and starts trying to push you out and tell you that you're wrong or anything like that, and you've been here for a while, look at them suspectly. Yeah, exactly. Wow, you like Ultraman Batia? Awesome, Nerdigan. Thanks. She sent me a couple stories to look into, especially that Train to Busan thing. I definitely will. Sounds like she's got her fingers on the pulse tonight. Yeah. So with that, I think that's kind of all I really have to say about investors are interested in woke investments. Woke people aren't creative, so they remake old properties. It's that, and it's less like they remake old properties because they know it's the name recognition. They know they will get people in the theater because, oh, I remember that movie. I remember Point Break. That was a great movie. I'm down to see it again. Like, and then you go and see it and it sucks, but it doesn't matter because they've got your $13 already. And yes, like people want woke investments now. Like that, that's where society, our current social atmosphere is all hail the woke, right? So if they see woke people, again, I'm of the belief that a lot of people who are quote unquote woke are just kind of being deceived. Like it's coming from a place of earnest like compassion. They just are being misled, which sucks. But there are those literal grifters who are out there, or those literal people who are out there trying to force this upon you. So like that's another distinction I want to make. But those people who have been convinced, for lack of a better word, I don't want to say brainwashed, but convinced that investing in these woke things is good, that it's good politic, that those are the people who keep investing in the wokeness. It's a very circular thing. And again, they aren't investors. They're fund managers using your 401k to pay off their political allies. Doesn't matter. They're still investors. It doesn't matter where, that they can take all the money they want. At the end of the day, that's still the money that's being used to finance that stuff. Those are the projects that get the investments. And like, yes, that's not to say it's not corrupt all the way down. All finance is completely corrupt. So is Hollywood and the media. And it's just, but you can't get caught up in weeds like that. Like, okay, so just because they aren't technically investors, does that mean I can't complain about them using that fund and still changing things? No, I think I still can, even if they're not specifically like that. To me is just a splitting of hairs. Be infuriated, please. You absolutely should be. I'm infuriated by it all the time. I just like making sure that we're all on the same sort of page about what battle we're fighting. I'm super excited about that that returning Ultraman trigger. I definitely am. Dude, yeah, TikTok. But to me, a lot of woke culture is a lot about just rebelling against your parents. It's the new way of it's the new punk, even though that's like the worst equation I could make. But I've said this before on stream, like, I'm down for transgender, whatever, be who you are, be what you want, identify, yada yada. But I believe that while there are 1 to 2% of people might genuinely have the mental break that makes them transgender, most of these people are trenders who are only doing it because that's what's popular now. That's what will get them attention. It allows them to bully other people. It gives them power, self-importance, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, when you go to TikTok, you're going to get most of those weird wokies because that's where all of the kids are sometimes. Or that is where all the kids are. Oh man, Roadhouse 2022 is going to be not fun. It's hard for me to get behind any real action blockbuster these days, especially one that tries to capture the action blockbuster spirit of like the 80s. Can't do it anymore because there's just too much you're not allowed to do. There's just too much finger wagging going on. So we'll never get something like Roadhouse. We'll get Roadhouse-ish, but never Roadhouse.
Oh my gosh, I just saw Spencer some cray stuff on Twitter.
What's up?
So, all right, are you done with Cowboy Bebop?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're done with Cowboy Bebop.
So, for those of you out there in our audience, maybe you do content creation, maybe you don't, but I'm sure a lot of you watch your favorite YouTubers, you watch Twitch streamers, okay, and it's widely known that many of us use OBS. Well, let's kind of rewind a little bit to when Streamlabs put out their own version of OBS. They kind of took OBS as open source, built on top of it, added a few things, and voila, you have Streamlabs OBS. Only problem is, it appears that Streamlabs has been kind of disingenuously slapping their name on certain things. In the last 24 hours, Streamlabs has been called out by Elgato, the people that made Stream Deck, Lightstream, and OBS themselves about actively copying and or stealing. They were told by OBS to not include their name in originally in Streamlabs OBS, but Streamlabs did, and they didn't even trademark it. So, Streamlabs is really taking the L here, but they deserve it, because if they in any way misrepresented or kind of plagiarized things, then they absolutely deserve what they get. Now, Streamlabs put out a tweet 9 hours ago. It says, "We are taking immediate action to remove OBS from our name. Streamlabs OBS is built on top of the OBS open source platform. Streamlabs OBS is also open source, and our code is publicly available. We take responsibility for our actions and will support the community." That's all they said. To me, that's disingenuous and rather ambiguous. It's, they are, in all estimation, a big joke. In Streamlabs, if you go back, they've had some problems with payment processing in the past, things of that nature. There's been many, content creators that I've known coming up through Twitch, and also fellow YouTubers now, that, I've heard people from personal experience that have used Streamlabs OBS or used Streamlabs for one function or another, that say that it's pretty shoddy, to be honest. So, you guys know me personally. I use Stream Elements. I know when Streamlabs OBS came out, I tried it. Matter of fact, I still have Streamlabs OBS on my computer, but I don't actively use it. I use OBS Studio, which is OBS proper, and I just import the particular overlays and things that I want. But I've always used OBS Studio because I just like the way OBS Studio flows. And if we're being really honest, when you use Streamlabs OBS, it has a much harder time keeping consistent bit rate than OBS Studio proper actually does. The Streamlabs OBS was never the better option. Okay, it was popular simply because it said Streamlabs on it. A number of streamers did use it, and it proved to be a subpar product at best, or an average product at best. But Streamlabs as a company has always been rather shady, so I'm not surprised by this. It just finally caught up to them. And if you are a content creator and you're watching this in our audience, I would most definitely suggest, if you're going to use enhancements, things to help you, use Stream Elements, because it just is a lot better anyway than Streamlabs, and it may not have its own necessarily OBS software, but it does have a lot of resources for content creators that help you. And also with Stream Elements, you can design your own merch. You don't have to go to an outside merch shop. Stream Elements has a merch shop right there on their site that you can work into your particular stream. whatever way that you want to. So you can just do your own merch right there. You don't have to go to an outside source like Zazzle or some of these other places. So, yeah, it's just funny, all this drama with Streamlabs though. And I wanted to bring that up, Spencer, because it was rather newsworthy since we cover streaming and
oh yeah, it's a big thing, like going across today or like going around today.
Yeah,
the last few days.
Yeah, so I just wanted to bring up that tidbit because I was reading the stuff on Twitter. I was like, dang.
They also they got caught ripping off of that one whose website is it? There's another let me look this up. It's like Streamlabs ripped off somebody else too. See OBS I know OBS talked about it on their Twitter. Open broadcast software. That's what it was. They copied did you see this, that they copied Livestream's website layout? Or Livestream's their website layout. Yeah, just like 100%. Just like to a T. Like
yeah, and Streamlabs has been doing this for a long time. They just because people wondered when Streamlabs OBS came out, they were like, how are they able to do this?
I know.
And
it's because it's an open source project. That's the problem, is that with an open source project, you put the code out there and you say anybody can take it. You can make your own fork. You can go do whatever, as long as you give credit and kind of keep the spirit of open source, development open, which is what they did, which is what Streamlabs didn't do. They just took it all, threw their name on it, and went, it's ours now. We did this. And it's like, wow, you guys are dicks. You technically, legally, you didn't do anything wrong, but you're just giant dicks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are, and I think they finally the nails in their coffin, dude. They're done. They're done. So now
I hope so. Yeah, they have to be after all this, right?
Because I mean, this is just a bad look across the board. I think they're done.
Mm-hmm.
Stream Elements, which is obviously they're a competitor, but yes, this is a big W for Stream Elements. Even though Stream Elements has always kind of been better anyway, but yeah, Stream Elements now, this is a big W for them by default.
It's a super big W. So yeah, it like with Drew, I use OBS proper too. Never used the other one, Streamlabs OBS. So yeah, if you're using Streamlabs, jump on over to proper, and yeah, keep probably in the next week or two, we'll probably see Streamlabs just shut down.
Yeah, OBS Studio, and it's like I said, folks, if you're gonna use anything like OBS related, OBS Studio is the way to go, only because your stream quality's gonna be more consistent. I dropped more frames and had more issues with Streamlabs OBS than I ever did with OBS Studio. And that's just fact.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask anybody that have tried the two products side by side, and they'll tell you the same thing. So Bunny with the keyboard,
that's what I was about to get into.
Streamlabs is for basically, so like it runs the software. Well, actually, OBS in general is for streaming. So like, if you want to do like a solo stream, like if Spencer wanted to fire up a solo stream, for example, he doesn't necessarily have to use StreamYard. If it was just him and he was doing a solo Black Pill, he could go into his OBS and stream directly out of OBS and run a solo Black Pill that way. And if you wanted to have like all his branding up, he's got that, because OBS is where you put your overlays, everything else. You set a destination, like a particular server that you want it to go to, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitch, so on and so forth. And then you basically are able to then click the live button, and boom, there's your live feed, right? Because OBS is putting that out. There's also the option, it captures your gameplay if you happen to have a game. So there's an option in there for it to capture gameplay when you're, if you want to do a game stream. So there's all kind of things. It's a very, very good software if you're going to get into primary content creation as a source of income or just a way that you want to entertain people, whatever. OBS is the go-to. I mean, that's the tool that you need to be able to do content creation, period, other than having the hardware that'll support it. If you've got a decent enough computer that'll multitask and be able to stream and game at the same time, whatever. But it's just one of those things where OBS Classic will always be better than any of these offshoots that come along.
Right.
Especially
That's what I was gonna say. Offshoots, yeah. Any copycat, anybody secondary, it's always going to pale in comparison to the OG, unless somebody like introduces something new that I can't even think of right now. It's always going to be the best one. In case, and I just want to do this as a side. I'll probably switch over we'll probably get to talking about Spider-Man in just a minute because we're last 30 here. I just want to hit our main topic, but this is insane. According to Mark 6336 or 63366, he told YouTube me, what shocked me is in my local high school in a town of 1,500 people or 15,000 people has 4 kids that identify as cats. The high school put litter boxes in for them.
What?
And I said, shut the F up. No way.
What?
And he straight up said, yes, in middle America, and I don't know where Mark is, and I'm not going to ask him to dox himself or anything, but I'm going to assume it's right there in the middle. Middle America, farm country. My high school installed kitty litter boxes. I couldn't believe it. I can't believe
Mark,
it.
Are you bullshitting us, bro? Come on, you're pulling our leg. Are you serious?
Like that's what I mean. Like, I it's so insane that I can't believe it, but I also do. Like, I trust Mark if he's telling me that happened, and I just, whoa, dude. Iowa, says Mark. Mark says Iowa. That happened in Iowa. Do they use the litter boxes? That's my big question now. It's like, okay, they're installed. Do they actually use them, or do they go to the bathroom like a normal person?
Oh my God! If that's true, I agree with Chris Neville. We need insane asylums back.
Absolutely. No, true story. I am pissed about it. Pissed. I see what you did there. But dude, that's insane. That is the craziest aside that I've ever, like, I know I had to enter. Oh, no way. Yes, they use them there in the hallway. No way. But also maybe, and if true, holy crap. Oh man, that's so insane. I pee in public and all of a sudden I'm in jail. These kids pee in public and all of a sudden they're cats. All right, with that, like I said before, Mark blew my freaking mind. We are coming down the wire to our last 30 minutes for tonight, so I figured we will hit the main topic for tonight, which is actually, here, I'll do one more topic before we get to the main one, which is, in case anybody didn't see, X-Men 97, the original voice actress for Jubilee, Allison Court, said she will. She's confirmed that she's not returning as Jubilee, and has previously said that she wants an Asian voice actress to voice Jubilee. Who, if you don't know exactly, because I saw a lot of our readers weren't aware. Jubilee is Asian. She's Chinese. But again, when it comes to voice acting, you guys know where I stand, which is it doesn't matter. Your race does not matter to the character you are voicing. Can you sound like the character? Do you bring that character to life? Phil Lamar brought a bunch of non-black characters to life, just like what's his name? Hank Azaria brought a bunch of non-white characters to life, and it's fine. It's fine for either of them. Anybody who has a problem with that needs to reprioritize, or like what's that term? Like check out the reorganize your priorities. You guys know what I'm trying to say. But basically, Allison Court, last year when fans were sending around a petition to get revivals of X-Men and Spider-Man animated series from the 90s. She said, I fully support a revival with one caveat. I will not voice Jubilee. It was an honor to bring to life and voice to such an iconic character in the original series, but I know far too many talented young Asian actors who would do Jubilee justice now. Still would love to be a part, just in a new role. And then when a fan said, okay, but she literally said, ready for some fireworks after the announcement, and he asked, like, why would she reference that if she wasn't playing the character? Allison Court jumped in herself and said, Jubilee is returning, and I am involved with the show, but those two things don't have to be one and the same thing. So there is that's basically the entire story, is that Allison Court is just one of those, we see this woke logic way too often of you have to be exactly the same type. You have to be that person, essentially.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's voice acting. It's freaking voice acting.
It's voice acting. And remember, this only goes one way in their heads. I bring this up every time we talk about voice acting. But Phil Lamar, the guy who does voices for a bunch of different characters. You guys might know him best as Jon Stewart from the Justice League cartoon. You might also know him as freaking Samurai Jack. Or he was also the... oh my gosh, what is that character's name? From Hunchback of Notre Dame. The blonde-haired love interest for Esmeralda. I don't remember his name. It's not Fastos or whatever. It's something weird or something old like that. He voiced him in all of the non-movie roles for him. He did. Who else has he done? I'm looking up a bunch of them now because he's just done. Kirk Langstrom, Man-Bat. He voiced him in Batman Unlimited. He's voiced. Just a bunch of different characters, up and down, different races, all around, different things. He's voiced Asian characters, white characters, whatever characters, robot characters. He voiced Rick Grimes in a motion comic for The Walking Dead. All that long resume is to say, when this debate started popping up a year or two ago, right, about voice actors have to be exactly the same race or whatever as the person voicing them. Phil Lamar was one of the people who, or a lot of people were using Phil Lamar as evidence. Let me back up. When that debate started, Phil Lamar went on his Twitter and was like, yes, 100%. This is what should happen. Everybody should if you should be voicing what the race is, or the character of a certain race should be voiced by that race. And everybody went, well, what about you? What about this? What about that? And all he said was keep my name out of your mouth if you don't agree with this. And it's well, you can't have it both ways. You disingenuous hypocrite. You can't say only black people can voice black people and then go around and go, oh, but anybody can voice a white person. Anybody can voice an Asian person. It's not fair. You can't pull that card, which is why I don't believe in that card in the first place. I don't care the skin color of Phil Lamar voicing a white character or anybody else. I care about if that character sounds like the character should be, right? That's hands down, at the end of the day, that's all that should really matter. And it just blows my freaking mind. Anime, it doesn't matter what gender or race you are. If you voice act, that anime is a little different, and here's why. I've seen this argument come up a lot where, oh, anime doesn't care about what race you are with voice acting and all that fun stuff. While they don't, you also have to keep in mind that Japan is very homogenous. There's not a lot of, in the classical sense, racial diversity. There's not a lot of non-Japanese. So when you're going to the talent pool, most of the people you're going to choose from are going to be Japanese, which is kind of the argument I had, or I still have, with casting or hiring people in America today. Everybody complains about, oh, why'd you hire this white guy? Why are there so many white guys on this production? Why this, blah, blah, blah. America is majority white. So when you are going to go to if you took just any sort of random sampling, you're probably going to get a majority white sampling. And, but yeah, in the anime sense, it doesn't. The gender is true. America is sort of the same. There are some like Goku, or not Goku. Sorry, or no, Kid Goku. Kid Goku, the original Kid Goku, played by a woman. So it still happens. It can happen, but with the anime point, it's just that like most of them are going to be Japanese. And then yeah, exactly, Nerdigans. White Funimation VA should quit. Then they all voice Asian characters. Who was it? Some. Oh my gosh. That's who it was. Oh my gosh. I need to. The voice actress for Chie in Persona 4. What is her freaking name? Because she was really stupid, or she said something really dumb. Dang it. Chie, or was it Rin? Rin, Persona 4 voice actor. Let's see. Bryce Pet. No, it wasn't that. Gosh, I'm definitely going to. Oh no, it was okay. It was Chie. It was Erin Fitzgerald. Who did she used to voice? She used to voice in. I believe, was it Guilty Gear? Oh my gosh, I wish. I know, guys, this is super interesting. I'm trying to pull up this specific, because we've written about her, as you can see. I'm pulling her up right now. Yes, that's what it was. So yeah, the same thing happened in Guilty Gear Strive. Ramenthal or Ramlethal is brown girl, tan, dark. We don't know. They don't really specify. It's fictional, but she was previously voiced by Erin Fitzgerald, who is a white woman. I guess I don't really have a picture of her in here. But she said that she voiced Ramathol in previous entries of Guilty Gear, but then when Strive dropped, she stepped aside so that Laura Stahl, who's a great voice actress on her own, she's pretty good, like nothing against her talent, but she's like, I'm stepping away from the role so that it could be cast, it could be cast more appropriately, right? But again, she voices a bunch of characters, as I point out, like Chie in Persona. So why isn't she stepping away from that? And again, it's that awful double standard where Asians are white. We can do whatever we want to them. It's or white people are white. We can do whatever we want to them. It's just racism, and it's garbage. Like, just reject it. Stop thinking like this. It's really bad. You know what? Phil Lamar's close to quitting voice acting different characters. Good, because you know what? I would respect him a little bit more if he actually practice what he preaches. Half the time, these woke adherents don't practice what they preach. They don't care about listening to all sides or that this person matters or this matters unless it's their person. So don't ever.
The thing with so many of these actors and actresses, Spencer, is a lot of them don't believe their own bullshit. Then
I know they don't. I know,
and that's the funny thing, because if you notice, you pay attention, guys. Listen, Hollywood goes where the political winds blow, and this is in the front of the camera talent. Well, oh my God, especially them. They're so disingenuous because
remember, they are actors, guys. They lie to you for a living.
Aside of probably about actual right now, if I was to say maybe 30% of the in front of the camera talent believes all this woke crap. Now, listen, it may be more than that because, obviously that industry really skews heavily progressive liberal.
Right.
But I honestly think it's only probably about 35% of these people that really believe this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, in their heart of hearts.
And that's what I hate most about this is, like, you don't care about this, but you are fine with the effects it's having, and like as long as you get yours, right? Like, to me, that 30% who actually believe the crap, like, yes, super annoying, super, I don't really want anything to do with you.
Like,
but at least I have the littlest respect for you.
Yeah, because we're talking about like the Alyssa Milanos of the world.
Right. Oh my gosh.
And, you know, and like you mentioned, Rosanna Arquette and people like that, you know, and her sister, God. Patricia,
oh my God. All of them. The Arquettes are just, they're past their prime. Speaking of the Arquettes, guys, I wanted to point this out because I made a joke about it earlier, and I didn't know that I was actually not making a joke, that I was actually telling the truth. So in case you don't know, Josh Berger, our man, our reporter on Bounding, he does a lot of our celebrity news, takes them all to town on literally the stuff that Drew and I are talking about right now. Like, he always takes them to town on that. He's actually been in this chat for like months. Condescending Josh is actually our own Josh Berger, and I feel really dumb because not only have I now, like, Josh told me earlier in the chat that it's him, and not only did it take me until tonight to put together that it was him, but like I should have, because not only does condescending Josh talk like Josh, but he also has a Mega Man avatar, which is what
Spencer,
like, Josh loves. So I feel dumb.
You know, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting Josh yet, other than, you know, seeing him in the chat. But
right,
Josh does excellent work. But, you know, I was going to say, Spencer, I'm supposed to be the one that is like having the boomer moments, not you.
I know.
What's
I'm
going
boomering
on
over
here?
here.
What's the malfunction, man?
I, you know what? Because I had to fill John's shoes, I had to fill it all the way. So I had to go full boomer. No, I'm kidding.
You know, where
exactly. This Josh guy is Josh.
where is he, by the way? Where is John?
John, he still has a sore throat, so he didn't want to like talk for 3 hours. So I was like, yeah, take the night off. I got this, or you got this. We got this.
Yeah.
What is that? Yeah, Alyssa Milano. Alyssa Milano is just the worst one. Like I just point to her and Rosanna Arquette. Like, it's just like, it's easy. It's almost like oh no, the Josh. He is all important Joshes.
I love when Alyssa Milano goes like all like progressive Puritan, and she tries to say, you know, women shouldn't be sexualized and things like that. And people, I love it to death when people throw it in her face. Like, didn't you appear in like arguably softcore movies back at this time of your career? And they just like drop movie titles in her face.
Again, it's the same thing. Rules for thee, not for me. It's always like, it's almost always going to be like that. And that's why it's like, it's easy, and it should be like your first or not like your first reaction, but like it's easy to just disregard what they're saying, because who cares? We know that you don't care. We know that you're just using this to bludgeon us. Like, what's the point? What are we doing here? Like, Alyssa Milano is just the worst. She's just, I don't even know.
Absolutely.
When like it made me so sad that Star-Lord's ship in Guardians of the Galaxy was named the Milano, because I'm like, I get it. Like, yes, in the 80s, in like she was a big thing, but don't give Alyssa Milano any more attention than she gets now. Like, this is the last person who needs to get more attention. She is just, exactly. One of my favorite stars when I was growing up. She was great back then. She was great, like, back in the day, but before a lot of these people went off the deep end, they were fantastic. Like, I was a big fan of George Takei before he went full insane. Like, but now he's just insane. Now he's just regularly insane. I like this. Alyssa Milano has more issues than Marvel Comics back room. And then see, guns are dangerous. See, I killed someone on set. And then or then the dumb thing with that of with his whole John and I talked about it last time, how he wants like Alec Baldwin came out and he's like, we should have police officers on set to make sure that like gun safety is being followed or whatever, right? And aside from the fact that that's dumb and there's already like 70 people on set whose job it is to make sure that doesn't happen, you are the same people who spent all year crying defund the police, but now you want to put them like I don't get you people. You're all stupid. You don't care about these issues until they
cherry pick.
Exactly, until it comes home to affect you. you don't care. And then all of a sudden it's the, whoa, maybe we shouldn't be so woke. Maybe cancel culture is a thing. Maybe yada, 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 yada. And it's like, well, we were telling you that. I don't know. Yeah, meme them till they cried, then make memes about them crying. Right, I'm right there with you. 100%.
Well, you gotta remember, like, you know, and this is a thing with recently, a couple weeks ago, just with the red wave in Virginia, really scared these people.
Oh yeah,
you know, and they're going to now come out, and for a while they're still going to double and triple down on wokeness, but you're going to see what I think they're going to try to make it a little more, you know, on the sly. And I think they're going to try to shift tactics here soon, because they, you know, there were already some pretty decently high-ranking Democrats that came out and were all over the talk show saying maybe we shouldn't have went overboard on woke, because it's
yeah. I saw James Carville came out and said that too.
Yeah, and I think what you're going to see is a tactical shift, but they're going to, at least in the short term, continue to double and triple down on woke until they exhaust it all the way. And then you are going to see a shift, because they are trying to they're going to try to rebrand to a kind of they're going to eventually try to appeal to moderates again. But I think the damage is done. I don't think moderates are going to buy it.
I don't think moderates are going to buy it. I'm there with you. But I also think, oh, wow, I didn't even realize I had this stuff up in the back. But I think they can't help themselves. I think that neoliberals and however you want to classify the Democratic Party now, I don't want to call them left, because they're just not left, but
no,
like whatever they are now, they can't help themselves. You know that, Drew. Like they could, like, this is what I predict. I think you're right. I think right now they go to a strategy shift. They go, okay, maybe woke didn't really work out for us. That was really bad. Like, let's think about this. And maybe for the next like 6 months, maybe we get less messaging that sounds like it was written by a college professor and more just like normal messaging, right? But they can't help themselves. The second an election comes up, which a lot will be doing next year, that's what they'll bank on, because they listen to social media too much and think social media is the real world when it's not.
They're going to have to, because otherwise, you know, at least the way that it's set up right now, 2022 is going to be a bloodbath for them. Because it's shaping up to be a red wave across the board. You're going to have a bunch of you've got a ton of populist candidates out there right now. They're taking advantage of, you know, just a couple weeks back, I interviewed the guy that was running for Congress here in my district in Ohio, you know, and he's a populist candidate. Great dude, smart guy, former veteran, and he has a great outlook. But again, he's a for the people candidate. You've got a ton of these for the people candidates coming up, and this populist wave is going to hit in 22, and it's going to displace all these extremists. And I think that they're worried.
They should be worried. Again, we don't want to turn this into bounding into politics, but like, I'm there with you. They should be worried, because clearly nobody is buying this anymore. And like I was saying earlier, with the Rittenhouse trial being broadcast like live, more and more people are tired of their stuff. So it'll be interesting to see, do they double down, triple down like we've seen them do, or do they actually try to be not insane? And I think we all know, yeah, Drew 2024. I could vote for that. I wanted to point this out because this is insane to me. So Josh says, dude, I crushed hard on Rosanna Arquette in the 90s. Reality is often disappointing. I get that. I totally get that. We've all had our crushes. You know, we've had a lot of crushes, you know, come out and disappoint us. I know I've told you guys about my old crush on Brie Larson. But what's insane here is that, like, if you go read Josh's articles, you can almost feel the eye rolling coming out of Josh's head at everything Arquette says. So it's funny to me to be like, wow, that was who like Josh crushed on. That's such a disconnect.
Wow, and this is just
we want to, Lee. We want to.
Jay Lee, yes, Jay Lee wants that big time, man, because he's a sports guy.
I know.
Mark 63366 brings up a good point, and this is like even a lot of people on the left. My far left sister is actually tired of woke, also.
Yeah,
and this is a thing. Like the people are average citizens are sick of woke. Period. And it's not just people that skew conservative like myself or people that are moderates or even people that are on the left. There's a general like just tiredness over wokeness. They're done with it.
Yeah. Most people are starting to see that woke is insane, that woke is contradictory at every, and then especially when you have people coming out and being the hypocrites that we were talking about, Drew, people get sick of it. Like these again, for lack of a better term, the elitists, the people up there in power, they view you as stupid. The royal you, not just Drew, not just the chat, but like they view everybody as stupid. So they think that they can just say things and like, screw you, you'll vote. Like it doesn't matter. But people aren't that done. The more they see these people being hypocrites, endorsing, like as much as like endorsing less than stellar people, like it's gonna reach ahead. It has to. Yeah, exactly. I ran out of adjectives to describe Rosanna Arquette. Raging left-wing activist describes her to the T. Though insufferable is also a pretty accurate description for her biased takes. Dude, her takes aren't even biased. They're just like in another reality. It's insane. Anybody go check out anything Rosanna Arquette said in the last 4 years. It's just like she is living in a different reality. Yeah, that's where I'm getting the information too from Nerdigans. I love that account.
Yes, Mark 63366. You are correct. Kate Beckinsale is.
Kate Beckinsale was great. Yeah, she was. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then Alicia Silverstone, Batgirl.
Celine in Underworld, one of the best, most underrated characters of all time.
Oh, 100%. All of Underworld, I feel, is like pretty underrated. I'm surprised nobody's tried to remake that yet, but oh gosh, like
Spencer,
why? Knocking on wood. I'm doing it, knocking myself.
Why? No, God, no.
I'm gonna get you that remake, and I'm gonna get you your half-human avatar arbiter.
Oh God, Spencer.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really good point, YouTube me. I don't even use bias anymore. In fact, really did. They are liars and propagandists. Again, normal people, like I agree, except for like the majority of people who think they're helping and are trying to come from a good spot. That's a bias. But it's the people in charge who are telling you what to think. The people who are saying this is what is actually happening in the Rittenhouse trial. This is actually what you want out of your entertainment. This is how you should be thinking about this tweet that was just made by Gina Carano. Like all those people, 100% liars and propagandists.
Volume Dealer says it's a true multiverse of madness, and I couldn't agree more.
I couldn't agree more either.
That's just that encapsulates it in a nutshell, because the thing is all of this is rooted in Marxism in the way that these ideas.
What is that? Whose interview is that, Drew? You always remember his name. Yuri Bezmenov, is that his last name?
Yuri Bezmenov, yes.
Bezmenov, yeah.
When he sort of explained all of this, the whole plan, ideological subversion, basically browbeating you into submission, sort of dehumanization and the demoralization of people. He explained all of it in that interview, and it's eerie how 20, 30 years later, I mean, this all comes to fruition. You see the end result, and man, it's kind of sad to see, because man, a lot of people wonder, and I get the question a lot, Spencer, where people have asked, how do we come back from this? Well, the only way to come back from it, the only way to combat it is to understand what's real and what's not, and don't give power to these concepts that these people are trying to push. When you push back on it, they have a harder time maintaining it and implementing it. So, push back on that.
Always push back,
when you see these kind of concepts, and if you folks don't agree with them, push back. And Mark 63366 is correct. I was talking with some people yesterday, and I brought up that very point. Politics is cutthroat as heck, and it's not for everybody to get involved in. But if you really want to get involved at that level, you get involved. State and local is where to get involved, because that's where you're going to affect.
That's where you actually have change.
That's where you're going to affect real change. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I'm right there with Drew. I nothing to add, nothing to subtract. That's exactly how I feel.
That's exactly where you're going to affect change. And especially with getting good people in the school boards, for sure.
Here's one for you from Philip A. Demick. Underworld versus Twilight versus Vampire Diaries versus Buffy crossover coming soon.
No. Never. Please, never.
Some like exec just like lifted his head up from his pile of cocaine and was like, I just got an idea. Like, I just heard so. Yeah, see, Drew made me do it.
Phil, why, Phil? Why, Phil?
Well, I think speaking of multiverses and madnesses and all that subversion,
Spider-Man,
buddy. Let's get into Spider-Man. I know we're coming up on the end here, but I think
because we're down to go on the midnight hour. I gotta get going soon.
Yeah, so I'm down to talk a little with you guys if you want. I know Drew might have to leave, but until then, the big news, if you guys saw it, was yesterday the first full trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home dropped. The thing, like, so where should we start with this? I'll begin up top. So the trailer is pretty straightforward. It starts with Peter right here in the rain, kind of hinting that it's going to be the darker sort of movie we've been hearing. Then we get confirmation that Peter does botch that spell, because we get the one that we saw in the last teaser where Doctor Strange is trying to make everybody forget. And Pete's like, wait, not her, not him, not like that screws it up. And then he tells him like, hey, when you botched that spell, we started getting some visitors from every universe. And that's when you see that bridge fight with Otto and the Green Goblin start happening. Then there's this part made me really like roll my eyes, but after this little montage of like the Green Goblin and Otto fighting Peter, we get this little moment where Doctor Strange is like, there are others out there. We need to send them back. And then he tells these three, so Scooby-Doo this crap. And it's just like, dude, why do we need this line? Like, what is this? Like, why did we need that quip? And then we have the awful moment from Michelle here, who's like, actually, this is your fault. And I know another magic word. It's called please. And it's just like, shut up. Like, I was telling this to John earlier, like, right, first, cringe-inducing all the way. I have no defense of it. And, like, the worst part is that, like, no, this is Peter's fault. Like, we all saw, like, Strange goes and does the spell, and who screws it up by not following instructions? Peter does. Like, shut the hell, like, it's just this weird moment where they, like, undercut Strange's character. I'm not a big fan of, like, you don't talk that way to an Avenger, dude. It's so weird. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just dumb. But then we find out the main plot or like the secondary plot of the film is apparently all of the villains are plucked from mid-movie. So it's all from right before they die. Because Doctor Strange says they all die fighting Spider-Man. It's their fate. I'm sorry, kid. And then you see this shot right here of Peter trying to like get the Goblin Bomb. It's also the thumbnail for tonight's stream. And then he goes, Peter tries to grab this box, whatever it is. We've seen it in a couple trailers, and tries to like run away. And that's when he starts fighting Doctor Strange. And we get a couple little moments of them kind of clashing. And then we get, the meat of the trailer, which is we finally get to see all the villains come back. So we get our Electro is back, Jamie Foxx. actually looking like Electro, even with like the full starfish mask and everything.
I really like the look of Electro, by the way.
I do too. I really, this is way better than the really like the yellow or the blue one from his movie. Then you also get to see Lizard is back and Sandman. And then of course we get the shot of Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. And then we get this a couple more montages of like them fighting on this big in construction building. And I watched the trailer a couple times, and it looks like that building is the Statue of Liberty, and they're giving her a shield, like Captain America's shield, like in tribute or whatever. You can see it when it like zooms out, but that's what they're fighting on. And then you get this shot of Michelle falling, kind of like they did with Emma Stone in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Definitely.
And I feel like they like just absolutely copycatted that.
Oh, dude, they 100% did. It's bad. Like even the whole like in construction thing, it's weird. But I also think if you guys notice, there's a brief shot of Ned is also there, like during this sequence when it all starts falling. I think he dies and Michelle lives. I think that's how they're gonna subvert your expectations. But then the trailer ends with Doctor Strange saying they're starting to come through and I can't stop them. Which and then we get this purple sky crack here, which is kind of what we saw from Loki and What If in regards to like what the multiverse kind of looks like in the MCU. Yeah, so that is two other details I wanted to point out were this black suit that everybody is kind of making a big deal about. It looks like it's going to be the MCU version of the anti-Electro suit, which is pretty neat. But it's also, if you guys look closely, you can see it's kind of got like circuitry on it. Pretty sure this is just his costume flipped inside out. If you go look in Spider-Man Homecoming when he's trying to like tinker with it and get the training wheels taken off, he flips his mask open and you can see that it's like black like that on the inside. And then if you notice this shot right here and also the shot at the top right here, he's got a different costume on. It's not the Iron Spider we saw before because that spider emblem is black, even though it's like armored. It looks like the suit from the Spider-Man PS4 game, like with the white spider and everything. So I thought that was an interesting little detail. But yeah, that is essentially our first look at No Way Home. So what'd you think, Drew?
I'm very, very, very mixed on this film. I do enjoy some of the member berries, but again, you know, we've seen plenty of times that all of this stuff is member berries and no substance to it. So, you know, I mean, it's most likely, and this comes, you know, from a Spider-Man fan. I've always been, you know, a Spider-Man fan. That's what I read primarily when I was growing up. I want it to be a decent movie, but I just have a feeling that it's not going to be.
And you know what? I'm right there with you. I don't. So like, yeah, I'm like Drew. You guys have all heard. Like I tell John all the time on the stream. Like Spider-Man is my boy. He's my favorite hero. Always has been. I know everything about him. And you guys also know how much I like different versions of characters. Like I've told you guys before, I generally, prior to Marvel and DC trying to put them into live action, I really like the idea of multiverses, seeing different versions of characters. So like in my mind, like technically this is the movie I've always wanted. It's a Spider-Man movie that has multiverse things happening and it's fun. I'm with Drew where it's like, yes, a lot of it is obviously member berries and I'm not gonna lie, obviously they appeal to me. Like I'm like, ooh, cool, that's gonna be awesome, that'll be rad. I just don't think there will be any substance here, or what little substance there will be is gonna be your standard MCU fare, which is like it's like kind of like gosh, for lack of a better term, guys, I don't know how many people have done this, but like when you do like shots of tequila from like a bottle and it has like the worm in it or whatever, like cool thing to do once and you get to go tell your friends that it happened, but you don't really want to be doing that all the time, right? Because that worm, you don't know what the heck that worm is at the very bottom. That's kind of how I feel about this. totally just lost my train of thought and where I was going with that. But yeah, essentially, I feel the same way that there's. That's what I was saying. It's like a novelty. Like, yes, it's really cool to see it once, but I don't really care about anything. Like, I don't want it to happen all the time. And past seeing it and having that one moment, I'm probably not going to return to it and be like, it's the best movie. I got to see this movie all the time. So yes, we know. So let's get to the chat because I know you guys have been going off. Just like the Electro. Oh, that was actually what Nerdigans is talking about something else, and it's actually what got me to go on to the topic. But yeah, Jay Lee, we saw the leaks from John Campea. Can't believe those. If you haven't seen them, I'm not going to look for them right now because they get taken down every 3 seconds. So all the sources I have are already gone. But John Campea, he leaked the fact that it's going to have the other Spider-Men and the fact that Charlie Cox's Daredevil is there. So that should be awesome. Again, it's hard for them. This is kind of like, all right, this is something I felt during watching this trailer. Watching the trailer is really cool. I'm like, ooh, excited. I still just like imagine if this had been kept under wraps. Like, imagine if this was the first trailer and we saw Dr. Octopus come out for that first time without ever having heard anything about it. How like it would have been mind blowing. It would have been way better. But yeah, just kind of we basically at this point, guys, kind of already know what's going to happen in the movie. At this point, it's just seeing it play out in front of you. Yeah, DC3, I'm not impressed, quite honestly. Anything from Marvel is not very interesting. Yeah, and I totally get that. Again, if this was not Spider-Man, and doubly so if this was not a multiverse type thing, I wouldn't be here. I would be out. And it's like Drew and I said, we don't think the story itself is going to be great. It's just the member berries. Godzillionaire says Spider-Man, no way it makes a profit. I gotta disagree with you on that one, man. This movie is going to make gangbusters.
The movie is going to do well.
It's going to do.
There are a lot of Spider-Man fans, and they're going to turn out for it no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Or go ahead.
The thing is, though, from a movie aspect, Spencer's exactly right because I think the story is going to be subpar.
Yeah.
If there's some interaction that brings everything together, like for example, if we get a face turn from like let's say Otto Octavius, and he somehow helps Peter figure out
I think that's what's going to happen.
The whole aspect of what's going on, or if you get some of the villains actually fighting each other.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We do see that. There was one shot in the trailer when Electro was saying you gave me this universe and now you want to take it away from me. And then he shoots electricity. That's a shot of him shooting at at Doc Ock, because Doc Ock then falls off the building, and I'm like, oh, I think Doc Ock's going to change sides and try and get everybody to go back.
Well, yeah, because and it makes sense if they're going to do it that way, because at least Octavius is a scientist,
right? Exactly.
That that might be part of his function in the movie. But the thing is all right, well, are we going to see that Venom tie-in and possibly one of the post credits or something like that? Because we already saw at the ending of the latest Venom movie the tie-in with this one.
Yep.
So are we?
I'm pretty sure we'll see. Oh wow, it took almost near the end of the stream for my camera to go fuzzy. But I'm pretty sure we'll see Venom, because obviously there was that big tease, and why would you make a Sinister 5 movie? You're so close. So I'm pretty sure Venom's going to play a pretty big role, or at least as equal of a role as anybody else. Yeah,
and then there's going to be there's definitely going to be a turnout though for this movie.
Yeah.
I just want to see. I'm partial to Toby or Andrew Garfield. Mm-hmm. I still feel like Andrew Garfield, although it wasn't necessarily perfect, didn't get a proper chance to really shine with his Spider-Man series.
I mean, he got 2 movies.
And I think that they really kind of ejected off of Andrew Garfield to go, with Holland way too prematurely.
I actually kind of agree with that. I think there should have been more breathing room. Like, if Amazing Spider-Man 2 was going to be the last one, let it sit for like 3 years and then bring in Holland. But it was just like, okay, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is over. Hey, 6 months later, by the way, we got a new Spider-Man. Come on over. And it's like, that's weird. Like, it's got to be confusing for audiences, especially casual movie audiences who are just like, I like Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, who's this guy? But that's why, like, yeah, I'm there with you. And this is why, and with DC3, like, you've got Marvel fans in general. You've got both, like, Toby Spider fans and Andrew Spider fans. You've got just general Spider-Man fans, and then all movie-going audiences. And the fact that this movie is only being released in theaters, that it's gonna make gangbusters amount of money. Like, especially compared to Shang-Chi and Black Widow and Eternals.
I mean, Toby Spider-Man to me is still the best because
he's my favorite
because Raimi just knew.
Toby's got the best Peter. Garfield's got the best Spider-Man, and Homecoming has the best, like, production values and such. So, like, if only you could just mash all three of those together, you'd have the perfect Spider-Man movie. That's what I've always said. And then, Godzillionaire, that damn Zendaya smirk, it's always there. Which is what Bunny goes off of. Zendaya requests magic words. I have two for her: Avada Kedavra, or Cadavra. That's the is that the death one, or is that it's the death one, because Expelliarmus is the other one. This is speak the magic words, do better. That's legitimately, like, I can't get over that line, man. I think about Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Anthony Mackie saying that all the time. Can't get over it. Did Peter lie to MJ and Ned, though? I think Nerdigans was talking about the this is your fault thing that I was complaining about. I don't know, but I also, that might be, but then wouldn't Strange, like, chastise him right there? Be like, wait a minute, what did he tell you? Instead of being like, just go. So I don't think he lied. I think it's just Zendaya's character being written as she is, and it's annoying. Did you see Cap's shield in the trailer? Supposedly it's to celebrate Sam becoming Captain America. Okay, yeah, so volume dealer. That's what I was saying. This scaffolding we see right here that the Sandman, Electro, and Lizard are on, this is part of a scaffolding around the Statue of Liberty, which is where you see Doctor Strange at the very end, where he's like right here, it's the Statue of Liberty, and he's on the top. But they're building... I didn't know, so I noticed that it was a shield. They are building a shield for her to be holding up. Thought it was in honor of Captain America, like Steve's death or retirement or whatever. Didn't know it was about celebrating Sam becoming Captain America. That makes sense, but also cheapens the hell out of that monument. Like, wow. Like, you won't honor Captain America, Mr. Poster Boy from World War II, who saved the world or the universe, but you'll honor the fact that he gave the shield to, like, his buddy. It's just a weird celebration. Oh, and you're only celebrating it because he's a black guy? Like, that's got to be patronizing. If somebody said, oh, hey, Spencer, you're Captain America now, we're going to build you this monument because you're the first Asian Captain America, I would go, where the hell is Steve's monument? Like, I haven't done anything. This is like when they gave Obama the Nobel Peace Prize before he did anything. Like, get out of here. It's virtue signaling to the highest. Josh, if Michelle's magic word line was uttered by either Tony or Andrew Garfield, I'd let it slip. But Michelle is such a nothing character. Just no. And yeah, that's my thing is not only is she a nothing character, she doesn't, like I was complaining about, it's not understanding all of what happened. It's not understanding the magic. It's not understanding the being Spider-Man. It's all of this stuff. And it's also a case of, like, of course it had to come out of Michelle's mouth, right? Like, couldn't come out of, like Tony Stark or Andrew or Toby or Andrew Garfield. It's just, it feels weird. It feels very forced and like new Marvel writing. And that's why it's like eye rolling, because it doesn't feel natural. No situation where, like, even considering Michelle's character, that level of, like, excuse me, you screwed up, you should say please, is not how she would go about it. It's just so insanely, like, try hard. Like we want you to gift this, we want you to meme this, and it's just like, ugh. Oh yeah,
It
it's both Strange and
is.
Peter's fault. Stop playing sides. Another magic
It
word
is hella
think,
try
Peter,
hard, dude. Big time.
Think, Peter, think. It's super try hard. Slavic 1. I have as much interest in this movie as I did in the Eternals. 0. That's what I've been seeing, is that if you're not all nostalgic for it, or a super like a either a Marvel or Spider-Man super fan, it's a lot of bleh, who cares. Yeah, when Doc I agree with this. When Doc Ock said you're not Peter, I was like, thank you. Yeah, that was a really good moment for that, and I kind of had the same reaction. Yo, what? Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, dude, it's closing in on 20 after 12. I do got to get out of here.
Yeah. Feel free to bounce. I'll stay and I'll end out this discussion with everybody. You want to let the people know what you're doing? Want to give a little sign off?
All right. So, you guys can catch me on my channel. It's at Supreme Heretic. You can follow me on Twitter at Supreme Heretic. Of course, tomorrow is Pegasus Actual Podcast, where we talk BSG. And if you're a Battlestar Galactica fan, you're going to enjoy that. I've got Brightest Day and Arwen Avalon as my co-hosts every week. Both Brightest Day and Arwen are killing it right now amongst the community, the fellowship, whatever you want to call our circle that we have. We're those two are really doing a great job at the moment. And if you haven't seen Brightest Day's content, or you haven't seen Arwen, subscribe to them. They're awesome people. Tuesdays is my Rogue Entertainment show, which is entitled Rogue Resistance, where I talk politics, current events, and I'm going to start working on some more video content for the channel, because I've got some things that I definitely want to get out there into the world on video. And also,
the way you said that made it sound like you're like Tony Stark trapped in a cave. Like I've got some things I got to put to video and get out there.
Yeah, and I also want to get some merch going. Once I have a proper logo done, which is being worked on right now, we'll get some merch out there. And so, yeah, that's what's going on right now. And I'm looking forward to catching you folks in the chat when you stop by Pegasus, or you're stop by Rogue Resistance. And I do appreciate the continued support. I appreciate you supporting us here at Bounding Into Comics, because all of us, I think, as a staff, are doing a great job. Of course, it wouldn't be possible without John, and Spencer's been doing a great job as our associate editor. And no, you're doing great, dude.
Thanks,
and
man.
We have a great thing going here, and we do appreciate you. So thank you so much for your continued support. And also,
I said it better myself.
And also, guys, let's blow Spencer's channel up. I know that he's starting to get into doing things on his own YouTube channel, and I think we need to get the word out about Spencer, and let's get him up over that 100 sub mark and get his first milestone going.
Let's make it happen. Yeah,
I think right now, Spencer, I am at. Speaking of that, I think I'm at.
I'll check you out.
Yeah, I think I'm right now at 747. Yep, I'm almost there. So almost up to
awesome.
the 7.
Get in there, guys. Let's get to 1,000. Let's get to 1,000. That's easy. 250. Shoot, you more than deserve it.
Yeah, so I do have a goal by New Year's Eve. I want to hit 1,000. I don't know.
I mean, I already heard that very, very good sign off from you right there, where you're like, I'll talk to you people when you stop by my channel, not if. You're like, I'll talk to you when you stop by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell it to them.
But these folks are great. We do have the best chat on YouTube. Love the people that stop by our Bounding chat on Wednesdays, because we always have great discussions. So, Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Love you guys. We'll see you soon.
Take it easy, Drew. All right, man. Always love hanging out with Drew. I mean, he's a supreme heretic, guys. How can we not love him, right? And yeah, like I said, I'm down. I'll hang out. We'll finish out this discussion, and if there's anything else at the very end, I'm your guy. So I think I'm just gonna pick right back up where we were before Drew had to sign off, and I was going to click on. Let's see, I clicked on Slavic 1, and then I clicked on Nerdigans. Here's where I was going. So Josh says Jamie Foxx's face looks CGI though. There's some uncanny valley aspect to it. I noticed that. Here, let me pull it up for everybody again because you can really notice that, and it is kind of strange. Which window is it? There we go. Yeah. See, it looks very much PS2 PS2 game cutscene esque, and so my theory is that this is all still kind of being worked on, or it was selectively edited, so you might be getting some old footage. And I say that specifically for this one thing that I'm going to pull up. In that moment, right here, you have these three showing down, and then you see Spider-Man, and he jumps at them, and then all three of them come at him, and then it cuts, right? Well, if you look and you like kind of slow it down, I'm gonna blow it up. Let's see, are you gonna play or are you gonna be a jerk? You can, it's going to be a jerk. It's going to load. Is it going to go? Dude, I hate Imager. I hate you, Imager. You are just an awful, awful platform for me to use. Please just play. Dude. Wow, this is really bad. Anyway, you guys can go watch it yourself because this clearly doesn't want to cooperate right now. But, it decided to. If you notice right there, they're all rushing forward, and the lizard's head gets knocked to the side really fast. Goes wham! See that? Like super stretched. And that's not just normal like graphics bugging out, because you can see the whole rig. His arms react, the body motion goes that way. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a three-way showdown. It's Electro, Sandman, Lizard versus Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. And that kick that we all see comes from one of those Spider-Men. This is also what I see. This is less concrete than this, but in the shot, if you look, Electro doesn't look to be looking at Tom Holland. He looks to be going forward, but his face is a little too straight. His body movement is a little too forward to just be going at like a guy to the left. So that's why, like, with this uncanny CG, with all that stuff, I'm pretty sure it's just like unfinished. But let's hope, right? Because we know Marvel loves their CG, and it could be that that's just what they think they can get away with, right? Yeah, was funny the idea. Peter thought that he could take something from Strange. Yeah, that's where you see he webs the box here and tries to get away, and then obviously Doctor Strange catches him. Thought that was a good little moment. John and I were talking before stream, or just earlier today, about how Doctor Strange's characterization is still weird. He still doesn't like it, and I still don't like it, about how when he's interacting with the kids and stuff at the Sanctum, he just doesn't seem like, he seems like a very Joss Whedon version of the character rather than the version we know, who's like the mystic, like I know what I'm doing, essentially Magic Tony Stark. So, but then afterwards, right at this moment when he tells Peter like they have to go back and he starts fighting against Peter, it feels like the Doctor Strange we deserve, or how he should be, where he's like, no, there are clear rules you need to follow. Like, we have to fix this. Stop breaking. Like, that seems like Doctor Strange to me. Let's see. I like Ned. He's the guy in the chair. Yeah, I know. I think most of us like Ned. I just think, so here's one of my big things with this movie. And I think you guys saw it earlier today. And if not, I'll just bring up the headline. Tom Holland suggested what's best for Spider-Man next is a Miles Morales film. If you read the what he's actually saying, they ask him, where was it? Amy Pascal did an interview with GQ where she talked about Tom Holland and doing Spider-Man, and she said, "I've talked about doing like 100 more. I'm never going to make Spider-Man movies without him. Are you kidding me?" But then in that same interview, Holland kind of joked back, or not in that same interview, in a new interview, Holland kind of joked back and was like, "Maybe it's time for me to move on. Maybe what's best for Spider-Man is that they do a Miles Morales film." And then, Holland says, like, I have to take Peter Parker into account as well because he's an important part of my life. If I'm playing Spider-Man after I'm 30, I've done something wrong. So that kind of gets to a big issue I have with current Marvel, and especially with, like, their surprises and the excitement, is we know too much about, like, contract details nowadays, especially, in my position as somebody who works in media reporting. Like, we get the press releases, we get the news info. So it's hard for me. It kind of goes back to that. This character has an automatic plot armor, right? Where I knew after Endgame that those 3 main Avengers had to die because their contracts were up. And then here it's like, well, you can only do so much and play with the character so much because you've only got the actor for so long, which betrays so much of what we know and love about these characters. Is that, like, you had Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man for like 20 movies, right? But everybody else gets like 3 or 4 movies, if that, like 3, if that, like to get fleshed out. And that's not enough to flesh out the character we know and love in the way that they're trying to do it. And so I just really hate, I do wish we lived in a world where we could still be dark on these kind of things. Like, I wish I didn't have to see the trailer before or hear any of the leaks or any of that stuff. And again, I know it's a little, what you would call it, like, that doesn't line up with my job, but in a perfect world, I wouldn't be reporting. I would be burning $100 bills on a yacht. And that would be my job. Somebody would pay me to burn money. Let's see. Lizard got a glow up. Yeah, dude, I was noticing that too. He does not look as embarrassing as he did originally. Let's see, where is that shot? I mean, you're not going to see a lot here, but his face does not look as like weird. Like, I did that because he always had lips, and that weirded me out. Like, a lizard with lips. I don't know. It just was weird. He definitely seems like more of a lizard here. You seeing what I mean more about Michelle Zendaya's being belittling and providing no actual value to the series? So I do agree with that. She adds no actual value to the series. I don't really dispute that. It's more that I don't really get upset at her for being a replacement for Mary Jane because she isn't Mary Jane, but also I like, that her sarcastic personality, I think, is actually endearing to an extent. I think Far From Home leaned a little, like in Homecoming, it was great because it was in like little doses and you got to like peek into her character. Far From Home, they kind of leaned too hard into it. And in this one, they're putting her front and center as a character, which is not where she needs to be. So instead of it just being her personality, it does seem belittling because instead of being in the background like she should be and kind of like understanding like this is a superhero thing, she's throwing herself in there and going, "Hey, Doctor Strange, screw you. Like, I'm a teenager. Listen to me." And that's how I feel about Michelle. I'm sure the story won't make sense. The motivations will be confused, and no one will be heroic. I actually think it'll turn out that Toby and Andrew turn out to be the heroes who kind of talk to Peter and be like, "This is what it is to be Spider-Man, man. Like it is what it is." Yeah, exactly. Who punched the lizard? The MCU has reached the old Yeller point. Yes, it reached it long before that. The only reason I'm reticent to say it now is because I do want to see this. Again, big Spider fanboy. I can't hide it. So I want to see this. But I'm not going to argue that the MCU is far past its prime. Honestly, I would have preferred if everything just ended after Endgame. No Far From Home. Like, even if it meant I didn't get this movie, I think I would have been much happier with the entire overall narrative if it just ended at Endgame. The easiest way to get Sinister 6, is multiversing it, because otherwise you would have to spend all those movies developing them. Remember what they did in The Amazing Spider-Man, where the post-credit scene was that Norman Osborn had been working on all the different like animal apparatuses to turn Peter's foes. Like they had the vulture wings and the octopus arms. That was a bad idea. That was a dumb idea. But that's what would have to happen if you wanted, without the multiverse. That's how this movie would have happened. So I'm there with you, Volume Dealer. From Josh, Shang-Chi was decent up until the ending when it became Star Wars Episode 1, Black Panther, Black Widow, third act. Hopefully Spider-Man doesn't do the same. So I think you're here earlier when I said, like, I haven't watched Shang-Chi yet. I've caught bits and pieces here and there. So I don't know how the ending is. I'm assuming by saying it's like Black Panther, Black Widow, Episode 1, you're saying that it just becomes a CGI noise fest, which unfortunately, like, as much as I want to see this movie, just from seeing this shot alone that we're looking at right here of the villains, it's going to be really CGI heavy, man. Everybody's got to be CGI'd. You got to CGI all the destruction around them. Spidey's got to be CGI'd. Then you have, and that alone wouldn't be bad, but then you've got the crackling purple skies, which just throws this other layer of like sensory input. It's just a lot. So I personally think it's going to happen like that. If it doesn't, and you're right, I will probably eat my own words and cry tears of joy. Campia, Last Jedi supporter, paid shill, loves Shang-Chi. Oh, I have no idea any history of Campia, like of that stuff. I just know he works on this stuff. So I am not the man to talk about with that. DC3, the only thing I'm excited is Toby, and that is it. Charlie Cox being there might be interesting too, but I think it would be a woman lawyer instead of Daredevil. Some say that he has women's legs. I don't. Who has women's legs? Charlie has women's legs. Either way, I don't know where this leg theory is coming from. If you're talking about the character, because we haven't seen a bottom shot of his lawyer yet, and if we're looking at the Campia leaks, it's very clearly not only a male, but Charlie Cox sitting on the couch. No way Spider-Man is going to make at least... Are you saying No Way Home Spider-Man is going to make at least double its money? Or no way it is going to make? Because I'm sorry, guys. Like, I think that this... See, word of mouth will kill this movie. I think it's the other way around. People love the MCU. People want the fan service. People think... Like, people love Spider-Man. He's the... Like, probably... I would have put him in Marvel's Trinity before the MCU started and they started trying to elevate like Thor and Hulk and everybody. But like, I can't agree with that, guys. Like, I'm with Mark. Spider-Man will be the last $1 billion movie. I'm more on this camp. I think it's going to do stupid amounts of money, especially because this will be the first movie I can think of will have the traditional release schedule, which is theaters only. And we'll get to you on home video later. Like, there's no Disney Plus special access. There's none of that happening. So I think that's going to that's going to fuel a lot of money, especially with, restrictions easing up from the COOF and more people wanting to go out. Yeah, exactly. Toby, Charlie Cox, Doc Ock. Hell yeah, it'll make money. Yeah, it'll do gangbusters. It'll definitely dwarf Eternals because, and you know what? Rightfully should. Like, I would be. If Spider-Man No Way Home, in whatever bizarre universe, if it didn't make more money than Eternals, I would, if I were Iger or Chapek, I would sell off Marvel. I would just be done because that would be the most insane indication of failure ever. If your Spider-Man movie that was only in theaters did worse than your D+, or it's not even a D+ release. I guess Eternals is having the same thing, huh? Either way, it better, like, I think a betting man would put money that's going to dwarf Eternals. Yeah, Nerdigans, that's what I felt too. I'm wondering if Miles is going to have some sort of cameo in the movie or whatever. I know we already have had an indication that Miles exists in the MCU because we saw his uncle played by Donald Glover, in, I think it's it's Homecoming, when he webs the guy's hand to the car and he's like, dude, I got ice cream in there. He straight up says like, my name's like Aaron Morales or whatever. I'm the Prowler. And he's like, I got a nephew around here who lives around here. And so we know he's there. I think this would be one of those situations where you would introduce him to kind of take the mantle because again, the contracts are running out. But I guess that's yet to be seen. But that's the thing too, is like, what is hidden thus far? We pretty much know everything about this movie. at least it seems like we know everything. Let me put it that way. It seems like we know everything. See, I feel like MCU fatigue will make a bunch of people. And back. No, my camera didn't die. I actually on that one exited the wrong tab because I was looking for something to show, and now I totally just blanked out of it. But let's see. Go back up to here. MCU fatigue will make a bunch of people just wait until it's on streaming. Only see my counterpoint to that is that it's Spider-Man. It's not Black Widow. It's not Shang-Chi. It's not the Eternals. This is super popular character who's had his own cartoons and movies like removed from any other Marvel enterprise for years and years and years. And the fact that it is a movie to go see in a theater, it'll get you out of the house, and then it comes out the week before Christmas. And if you guys know anything, Christmas time is a giant day for movie going because pretty much everything else is closed. So it's all this perfect formula to just make $1 bazillion and $4. But that's the thing. But there have been so many Spider-Man movies and so many Spider-Mans. Who cares at this point? Like, people do, unfortunately. Like, because each one offers something new, something different, people will always go see it. I mean, one could argue the same thing about every single Batman movie we've ever gotten. Why did we make Batman Begins when we have 4 other Batman movies? Why did we make The Dark Knight when we have 5 other Batman movies? Why did we make The Batman when there's 7 other Batman movies? Why did we make Batman v Superman when there's 6 other movies? Other people can have other takes on it, and like I get that. It's not always just, if it was another origin story, yeah, I'd be like, dude, we've seen this 1,000,004 times. We don't need this. But because they're doing, and we've never seen something like this. We've never seen a cross company era character IP rights thing crossover before, even in the MCU. So even that alone is a spectacle. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Captain America or Falcon Cap doesn't deserve any celebration yet. Even Walker was better than him. And like I don't get if that's why they are building the shield for him. This is something I've seen, but you're not the first person, Phil, to mention this. The X-Men are fighting in Lady Liberty. This is how they are brought in. I could see that. If you guys all remember the first X-Men movie, it ends with the X-Men fighting Magneto on top of the Statue of Liberty. So I could absolutely see this being one of the outcomes, especially with that line at the very end where Doctor Strange says they're here, or what, like they're all coming and I can't stop them, or whatever. That to me implies that there's going to be a lot of cameos. And maybe they'll be brief. They won't be as long as like the villains or whatever. But I'm thinking we're going to get a lot of stuff like that in there, especially now that everything is back under their umbrella. So I don't know. I don't know who else could be brought in, or how else, or why else, but I can see it all happening. Yeah, if Kirsten Dunst or Emma Stone said that line, I actually see. Here's the thing: if their characters said that line, I feel like their characters would have rightfully been told to shut up by Doctor Strange. Like if Gwen Stacy, hey, you should say thank you. Like, this is all your fault. Peter or Strange would have been like, no, it is his fault. It's Peter's fault, and they wouldn't have just gone along with it. That's the thing. Is like those characters in the back, because they were secondary, they would have been that line would have been treated like it was coming from a secondary character. Because they're because Zendaya's primary, it's being taken and given the same importance as if it was being said by Peter, right? And that's where it's this weird forced disconnect, and why that line feels so unnatural. Yeah, I thought you meant Toby, not Tony, and I realized that as soon as I finished that sentence. And we got to I didn't get to highlight these. Good night, Drew. Everybody said good night. Yeah, Tom's got to pass the baton so he can destroy. I mean, play Nathan Drake. No. You were right the first time. There's no need to dance around that awful whatever it's supposed to be, adaptation of Uncharted. Like it's just bad. The only Star Wars movie I've seen in the theaters twice was The Last Jedi, not because it was good, but because it was cognitive dissonance. It wasn't that bad, was it? Dude, ouch. Oh man, like of course everybody's kind of like got to get that like touch the stove to know it's hot, but man, you didn't just touch the stove. You like went into like you went to the Manhattan Project and just stuck your hand in the core. Yeah, Mark, all Spider-Man games are fantastic. I can't think of, I mean, the weird ones like the Friend or Foe on DS and the weird cash grabby ones are but like I even liked the Amazing Spider-Man movie games that are kind of janky, but they're still lots of fun. Again, can you tell that I'm a fanboy? Yeah, see, CGI has gotten really cheap. Can't argue with that there, but as Nerdigan says, still looks better than the GTA trilogy and the Seven Deadly Sins movie. And the superhero landing was destroyed in Deadpool. Yes, but for me, superhero landing still works for Spider-Man because it's not so much about like, to me, it's not so much about distributing your weight everywhere. It's more about like at any given minute, he could flip on you. Like he's down there any second, he can push off with his hand and go over. He can kick off with one leg and go this way. He could, he crawls. He's a spider. So like it makes sense for me for Spider-Man. But yeah, I'm there with you where it was destroyed in Deadpool. Yeah, exactly. Lizard gets Ryder kicked right in the face, like out of nowhere. It's clearly Ghost, Kamen Rider Ghost crossover. All the 14-year-old girls I was talking about on TikTok, they absolutely do. People are talking about Hobgoblin. I don't think we haven't seen a Hobgoblin yet. Yeah, and considering that Venom makes 6, I don't see them bringing in a double Green Goblin thing, because then it's like, which double Green Goblin do you do? Do you get Harry Osborn from Amazing Spider-Man? Do you get Harry from Raimi Spider-Man? And then if not, it just gets all super weird. It's not like Doctor Strange. It's Wanda. Why couldn't Spider-Man take the box? Who knows? I don't even know what that box is supposed to be at this point. Something magic. There's no way that the old Rogue are in this movie and the old Spider-Man don't appear. What do you mean the old Rogue? Like Anna Paquin? I definitely don't think Anna Paquin's ever going to show up again. But yeah, there's no way the other ones don't appear. It could be what if Doctor Strange. So yeah, like John's thrown this out there before, like, hey, maybe it's Mephisto, and there's this theory that this is actually the first time I've even thought about it. So thank you, Volume Dealer. And my thing is like, I could see that, and it could be great. Like if this were in if this was all taking place in the comics, I could definitely see it happening. But I don't know how much Marvel actually wants to make everything crossover. Remember, they said the same thing about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the beginning. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is MCU, and with the Netflix shows, like this is all MCU, it's all connected, all here, they'll all appear, and they don't. They just ignore it. So like, will they do the same thing with What If? That's kind of where like would they do the same thing with that? And like, could it be Mephisto? Would they introduce Mephisto? It's just if it were a company that actually cared about like creativity and producing the story and sort of like that, I would be more open to this happening. The problem is I'm just too cynical at this point about Disney that if it does happen, it's a genuine surprise. So hey, who knows? Maybe like I'm up for a surprise. So like I want it to happen. I just don't think it will. Yeah, they give Miles Moronic, Cap, Shield, and What If. They gave they're doing, in case anybody hasn't seen, they're doing a new What If series that's all focused on Miles. Like what if Miles this, what if Miles that. First cover is Miles Morales. What if Miles Morales was Cap? And whatever. The costume looks ugly. The concept, is just going to be like woke beyond everything and just super preachy. It does not look good. And I'm not the biggest Miles fan in general. Yeah, that's some bad CGI. Now we're getting to the point where I think I showed you guys. I think we're talking Electro. Yeah, see, I like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, but 2 had a lot of dumb ideas. That's what I'm saying, Shinkai, is like it had good ideas. It had great parts to it. I think Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is the right type of Spider-Man, very quippy, very quick and all that. Gwen Stacy was fantastic. I even thought the little interplay between her dad and Spider-Man in the first movie, like doing the death of Captain Stacy, worked really well, even if the Lizard had the dumbest face of all time. I just didn't like him as Peter because he does too much of the like type of thing that was really popular in like 2007, 2008. And I just hate that. I don't want the baddies to die subplot because it's such a Spider-Man thing to care about the villains, but I'm afraid the execution will still disappoint. So like I'm there with you. I don't know how it'll be executed. Of course I'm always gonna be afraid. It's Disney, it's Marvel, they'll screw up the execution. But to me, I was telling Drew, there's a moment where you see Doc Ock get blasted by Electro, and I'm pretty sure how the movie's going to play out is that he is going to turn, or either that chip. Remember in Spider-Man 2, he goes evil because that chip explodes on his arms and kind of confuses his brain with the AI. Somehow, I think they're going to fix that, obviously, and I think it'll be, unfortunately, Stark Tech, because I'm sure you guys all noticed in the trailer, there's that arm. There's like the red octopus arm. I think that's his arm upgraded with Stark Tech after he starts helping Peter. So I think Ock will probably be the catalyst to get him to push back. That's the thing, Josh. Like, the more I try to think on it, the more I do think, I don't know. It's hard because we don't know enough about how it's going to be executed, and obviously it's all speculation. It's going to. I'll give them benefit of the doubt. I'll let them prove me wrong first, but I am not going in there already giving them like credit, you know? Yeah, people will definitely see it because of Doctor Strange, like all 5 people. I think it will halt at about 700 million, and it will only make $1 billion on the last franchise with inertia. What do you mean there? It'll make $1 billion on the last franchise? You mean on Marvel? Explain that to me, because I think I agree with you. I'm just a little confused. Yeah, me in 2017. I hope Disney has creative control. Man, that again, monkeypox. Yeah, fine. I'll do it my ching self. Spider-Man: No Way Home. I hope, and if it deserves it. Yes, agreed. And then Josh, me in 2021. I hope the rights revert to Sony. That's kind of where it was cool. All the crossover stuff was cool now, but now it's clear that that's all you kind of care about is the I know that thing, and I'm kind of up for more stories. Yeah, LOL, ouch. Everybody's on it. Oh, and then here we got to the point where I was an idiot. Yeah, John just cut the feed. I was being too positive towards a Marvel movie. Yeah, but still F, definitely still an F. Godzillionaire just wanted the last word. He had it. Yeah, yep, exactly. Everybody got me. Yeah, like I said, I just closed it out. Let's see. Why did they make Batman Begins? I sure don't want it. See, I think Batman Begins is the best one of that trilogy. And yeah, it's money, and people will keep seeing, or people will always see it. But Spidey is one of the ones people won't get tired of. I mean, 3 origins in 20 years, and we didn't bitch about it. That's exactly where I'm at, YouTube me. He's just one of those characters. He's just one of the one. He's essentially Marvel's Batman in terms of popularity and marketability and staying power. He just has that thing. He's one of the few heroes who connects with that human side. You know, Peter Parker, the nerdy outcast who's unsure of himself. He connects there. And you don't get a lot of that. So yeah, that's why I think the movie will make a bajillion. Yeah, YouTube me says he thinks it'll make money, but not $1 billion. Wasn't Eternals supposed to replace the X-Men? Inhumans were supposed to replace the X-Men, and then I think Eternals were supposed to be. I don't know what the hell they were trying to do with Eternals. Honestly, it's such a confusing mess of a movie that it just feels like they went, crap. All of our big franchises are already out the window. Chris Evans is gone. Hemsworth is gone. Downey Jr. is gone. What the hell do we do next? There's this Eternals thing. Screw it. Throw it on the schedule. Do it. Like that. Yeah, X-Men and FF. I bet no X-Men and no FF. I can see X-Men, especially if it is the whatchamacallit, like the First Class movies, like the McAvoy movies, the McAvoy Professor X movies. I don't, and maybe like Patrick Stewart, because he's always down for Professor X. Don't know about anybody from the old school Fox movies. Maybe Hugh Jackman, and if they do, that would be the biggest surprise. Like I won't believe it if that's how they pull it off. I could see Fantastic Four just on the sole idea of like that's how they'll introduce them. Like, because you know, Fantastic Fours are explorers, and like end credit scene is like, wow, we finally made it back. Like whatever. Even though I think they should just give them like a straight proper origin. Yeah, Inhumans were yeah, and then everybody, you're talking about why they made them in the comics. No one lands like a superhero like the Bounding Brawler. The Bounding Brawler is the only superhero who lands like that, because he's always landing with a fist of justice to take out his opponents. Yeah, dude, I clocked up. I broke it up. Yeah, Spider-Man's the high dex character. What in the box? I think they called it the mystery box. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's clearly got something to do with Doctor Strange and his spells, because we see that the beams of energy explode outwards from it when he's casting it. Yes. I knew you were making a Seven reference, and if nobody's seen Seven, you haven't seen Seven, go see it. It's a great movie. Yes, all hero movies have to stop killing the big bads and then adding 2 in the sequel to die, and then 3 or 4 more in the next sequel. Stop adding bad guys and start using betters. That's the thing, is like everything has to be like, it's too much now. Everything has to be end of the world, because that's how they set up all these movies, that anything else seems almost quaint, right? Like how do you follow up when you present audiences with this big epic scale crossover? How do you follow that up? You have to have Eternals, which is not only is the universe in danger, but it's always been in danger from an even older evil. And then what do you do next? No, multiverse. The multiverse is invading. Now we have to fight all of the universes. And it's like, you're just going, it's too much. Scale it back at this point. And then, yeah, you keep throwing out all these characters, which means you just bring in new ones and throw and dice up their lore however you want. And doing that, oh, I clicked it away. Doing that is how you end up with Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's just too much. And yeah, I knew you meant better baddies. Yeah, volume dealer, Stark Tech. Yeah, they made him the new Stark too much. That's what you meant. Yeah, Spider-Man is the last property in the franchise with the inertia to deliver $1 billion, but it won't be because of genuine excitement. As a property, it should be $700 million, and if it makes $1 billion, it's pure inertia. I see what you're saying. You're saying that all of the like goodwill and interest in like the MCU is going to help propel that past its $1 billion point, and I agree. And yes, if it were separated sort of from Marvel Cinematic Universe and all that, 700 million would probably be around my guess too. Again, it's Spider-Man, so it gets that high up on his own. It doesn't cross $1 billion without the Marvel branding behind it. Here we go. If Spidey hits 1 billion, Mark will take a drink. If it doesn't, he'll drown his sorrows with a drink. You know what? If it doesn't make $1 billion, you and I can have a drink on whatever Black Pill stream comes after that week. I'll have one just for you. Yeah, exactly. I would like another reboot, but keep them effing street level. That was one of the biggest disappointments when they introduced like the Defenders stuff, like Iron Fist, Cage, Daredevil, and Jessica. I thought that was perfect for Spider-Man. That's Spider-Man's crew, and yet nothing. Yeah, give more time for the X-Men. That's what I think. Yeah, Josh is right. Want to introduce the X-Men in F4, do Ultimate Comics Cataclysm, and bring them all together. Woke Disney will even get a chance to introduce Miles Morales as Spider-Man, and I'll hate every second. Yeah, no, you're totally right. That would be the easy way if they want to just shove it all and kind of like just get going on it, right? Like if they want to hit the ground running. I think if they did the opposite, and they kind of slowly built up the X-Men and slowly built up the F4 like they had been doing in like phase 1 and 2, you're going to have a really good foundation for a much better future of stories, right? Unfortunately, like we've been talking about almost all night, probably not going to happen. Yeah, no more damn portals. Just give me a good story. Yes, how could I forget Nerdigans? Miles as Cap is so stunning, so brave. Thank you for fighting the good fight, Marvel. I don't think Black people anywhere would have felt validated without you making this obnoxiously like virtue signaling what if series. They've never done like there's been nobody's gotten a what if just for themselves. What ifs are always like every volume is like what if each story is different. I don't know. It's so weird. They're trying way too hard, and maybe that there's something to that, Nerdigans. Maybe they're doing a Miles push because Miles will be coming through in No Way Home. Like that's kind of clearly where we're getting to. Or like that's if I were to read the tea leaves, that's where I would start finding patterns, even if they don't exist. Yeah, and I guess now everybody's talking about what's in the box, either Justin Timberlake's, Scarlett Johansson's, or Ryan Johnson's. And so with that, we have gone almost an hour over because we got carried away with the Spider-Man talk. So I think I will wrap it up here. First, I want to say thank you, everybody, for sticking with me through that Spider-Man talk. That was a little self-indulgent because, like I said at the top, I love Spider-Man. I just want to talk about it. I'm super happy to hang out with you guys every Wednesday. They're one of the best nights of the week. So thanks for stopping by. It's always fun to talk to you. Condescending Josh, you're no longer condescending Josh. You are just Josh now. I can't believe it. It's blowing my mind. Aside from that, for me, you can find me on Twitter right here or over here at Kabuto Writer Mav. You can find me on YouTube at Kabuto Studios. Like I said last week, I'm still working on a bunch of like anime recommendation content, video game streaming content. It'll be all up there. Plans got a little derailed because I had to fill in for John these last couple days because our boy is sick. So bear with me there, guys. Aside from that, you can find me daily on Bounding Into Comics. We've got new stories every day, whether they're from me, Condescending Josh, John, Drew, Don, JB, the entire staff. We've always got good stuff coming to you. So check us out. And yeah, aside from that, I will be back next Wednesday to hang out with you guys on next week's Black Pill stream. Hopefully John will be with us. And until then, I hope everybody takes it easy. Go check out everybody's channels. Go check out Drew with Supreme Heretic. Go check out Nerdigans. Go check out, I think Nerdigans is the only one here maybe with an active YouTube. If anybody else has one, let me know. I'd love to give you shout outs, but yeah, go check out Drew. Go check out Nerdigans. Check me out. Subscribe to Bounding Into Comics. Take it easy. And until next time, or I kind of screwed up my own sign off there, didn't I? Let's restart. Until next time, guys, take it easy.